Clark alongside us for commentary this afternoon. Paul, how big a game is this for Southend United? We perhaps on Tuesday said after the game that was a big game to lose in terms of the playoff chase, but Blues squad staff are determined to keep themselves in touch. There's no let up in these last 10 games for them if that's what they want.
No, absolutely. I mean, everybody expected that to be a tough run of games for the Blues, and it proved as such. And in a few of the games, they kept themselves within a shout and pushed some sides really hard. Now it's a case of, okay, now you've got to back up the words. They've said they've looked at the performance. Reece Murphy and Kevin Mayer talked about the performance was good. Now we've just got to find that little bit of difference. The trouble is, if you don't find that in a game like today, when today becomes just another defeat, then there's a chance that all the steam could go out of that challenge for those playoff places. They've got to back up those words with a performance today and a result today. Probably, I say probably, I mean definitely, the result is more important than performance. They've got to get the 3 points today, so put that difficult run behind them and then be looking forward again. So right, now we're really back in on the shout, getting ourselves into the mix and still be involved come the end of the season.
And goals are important for Blues as well. They've only scored once during those last 4 games. Harry Cardwell with the consolation goal in the home defeat by Chesterfield. Both sides out onto the pitch. Southend United in their traditional home strip of the dark blue, white piping, white socks, and Aldershot in their red shirts with the blue collar, white shorts and blue socks. Southend United have made one change from the side that were beaten 1-0 at Boreham Wood on Tuesday night, having conceded a 75th minute penalty and then failing to score from the spot themselves 5 minutes later. That one change is Noor Hussin, who limped off in the second half of that game. He is not involved. Dan Mooney comes back into the starting lineup, having been on the bench for that one. So Steve Arnold in goal for Blues, Jack Bridge and Gus Scott Morris the wing backs, Nathan Ralph, Sean Hobson and Ollie Kensdale the centre backs, Cam Miley and Wes Funduk in midfield, and Dan Mooney, we think, just playing a slightly freer role in front of those two, but behind the strike partnership of Harry Cardwell and Reece Murphy. The substitutes for Blues: Louis Lomas, Callum Powell, Harry Taylor, Chris Ray and Jason Demetriou. As for today's opponents, Aldershot, they've made 2 changes from a 1-1 draw with Maidenhead on Tuesday night. Jack Barham comes in for his first start up front, and Tyler Frost also part of the starting lineup. No place for Haji Minogo, the Portsmouth loanee, and Colchester United loanee Jake Hutchinson drops to the bench. So Aldershot have Luca Ashby-Hammond, the Fulham loanee, in goal. Miles Kenlock, former Bluesman Tyler Cordner and Corey Jordan across the back. Perhaps even Henry Okieng or Tyler Frost playing as part of a 4 for that, but they both operate as midfielders as well. Joe Partington and Oliver Pendlebury, and then Justin Amaluza and Ryan Glover as the wingers, and Jack Barham the man up front. The subs: Lloyd Thomas, Josh McCoyd, Karoy Anderson, Jake Hutchinson and former Bluesman Michael Class on the bench. Referee this afternoon, Scott Simpson, has officiated 15 National League games so far this season. He's given 51 yellows and 1 red, and he's just doing his final checks ahead of kick-off here, assisted by Carly McKitterick and Robert Evans, his 4th official Michael Scott. And we are underway, live and exclusive on BBC Essex, with the Blues kicking from left to right as we look on from the commentary box, and it is run out of play immediately for a Southend United threat. Paul Clark, what do you want to see from Blues in this early period of the game?
Well, as I said earlier, I want to see him being a little bit more variation, using the front 2 as almost a spearhead. You go bounce balls off them, suck the Aldershot defence in tight, and then go out to the Jack Bridge and your Moonies. Try and create space for them.
Gus Scott Morris getting the ball back in front of his own penalty area and chips it down the right hand side. It's headed away by Kenlock and then put back forward by Murphy for Southend United. It's going to be
Victoria, it's going to be a difficult pitch as well, because we've had a sort of a drizzly, persistent rain, and there's looks to be a number of dead spots on the pitch. So I'm expecting a few mistakes, especially we know this left-hand side in front of the south stand causes Jack Bridge some problems, so it could cause Gus Scott Morris problems defensively. Also, that goal mouth in front of the south stand, not an awful lot of grass on there, and again could be a dead area.
Dan Mooney with the ball down the right-hand side for Blues. He's just held off by Tyler Frost for Aldershot, and Obiang helps it up the pitch, the former Chelmsford City man. Southend United win it back in defence. Ollie Kensdale, who conceded that penalty on Tuesday night, passes it on to Nathan Ralph, and then his ball over the top will bounce through to Ashby Hammond. He's been on a season-long loan from Fulham, ever present for Aldershot in the National League. Has the ball in his hands, in his area, and Rhys Murphy just lurking on the edge of the area as it's drop kicked forward for Aldershot in the early stages. There's a nudge on Ollie Kensdale, which the referee sees, and gives the free kick away of Southend United. Dan Mooney in his own half, diagonal ball, looking for the run of Jack Bridge, who he finds. Bridge, just took a bit too long over that, and allowed the Aldershot player to come across and win the ball back, and it's upfield.
Terrific ball from Dan Mooney, big switch, drove it out to Jack Bridge, and his first touch, just as you say, first touch wasn't bad. So again, they try to roll the ball down the side, but rolled it straight to the Aldershot defender. Second touch just gave the defender a chance to nick it off again.
Pendlebury has the ball in his own half for Aldershot, and then Cardwell tries to put Cordner under some pressure as it goes back to Ashby Hammond, and is long forwards for Gus Scott Morris to collect. And it's a heavy first touch from Dan Mooney. He then did control the ball, and he was caught late by Partington. That will be a Southend United free kick in the Blues half, and immediately, it was Opiang actually who had the initial challenge. He's been booked in the early stages here. 3 minutes gone. An Aldershot yellow card and a Southend United free kick.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty tackle. It's the first touch from Dan Mooney, just got away from him. Opiang went in. It's just foot went over the top of the ball. Thankfully, Mooney's foot was off the ground, and so they're the ones that if you hit a planted leg, they can be dangerous. So thankfully, he's got away with it. The last thing he needs is any more injuries.
It's Dan Mooney over the ball for Southend United, left-footed towards the edge of the area, looking for the header Hobson. It's away by Cordner, picked up by Wes Funguk. Out onto the left-hand side for Jack Bridge, trying to take on Glover, finds the short pass to Nathan Ralph. Nathan Ralph gets to the byline, tries to get the cross in, blocked away behind for a corner. There's all sorts going on in the penalty area, with Rhys Murphy tumbling over on the floor. The referee will come and have a word about, but it will be a Southend United corner.
Good defending from Tyler Cordner there. Not sure it's a good idea on the free kicks to be standing the ball up into the area that allows Cordner to go and attack it. I would think try and drag him out the way and then hit the balls into the area where other people are picking up. Blues have got enough people that are good in the air to go, well, we'll isolate Tyler Cordner away from things and hit the areas that he can't defend.
Rhys Murphy and Miles Kenlock just spoken to by the referee, having both gone over as that free kick came in. But it will be now corner to Southend United from the left-hand side. Bridges' ball is headed away at the near post. It will be over the top from Dan Mooney, and then the clearance is skied straight out over the far side for another Southend United throw. 5 minutes gone, Southend United 0, Aldershot 0, as the throw's taken short to Miley. Miley with the ball into the box, punched by Ashby Hammond, comes out to Mooney with the volley, wide of the left-hand post.
Terrific from him. That's much better from Blues. Ball set back to Nathan Ralph. No second thoughts, no touch. He's going in so the strikers know, okay, we can make the run. The goalkeeper actually did well, got a good punch on it, got it out inside the edge of the box. A great positioning for Dan Mooney, just to plonk himself out 20 yards out. Should that happen, he gambled on the volley. Got a decent strike, unfortunately just slightly came off the outside of his foot and went wide of the left-hand post.
It would have been a lovely opening goal for Southend United, as it is though, 0-0, 5.5 minutes gone. Ball inside the Southend United half. not cleared yet by Blues. Mooney will come across and try to do so. Sliding challenge comes in, and Aldershot will keep possession down this left-hand side in line with the penalty area. And Southend United have some defending to do. The Aldershot fans away to our right-hand side. You might be able to hear in the background as the throw is taken short to Partington. Comes off a Blues man, and that'll be out for another throw, just a couple of yards further back this time for today's visitors. It's Tyler Frost who will take. Former Reading, Harrogate and Crawley man takes it short to Okieng, and it comes off of Gus Scott Morris, who couldn't quite get enough on it to keep it in place. Another throw for Frost to take, this time down to Amalozo. A low ball in, the flick comes in, loops over the top for Barnum, and a let off for Southend United. Yeah, they did well. They got to the byline and just whipped a ball into the penalty, into the 6-yard box rather. Barham just run across Ollie Kensdale, really didn't get in front of him, but stuck a leg out in front of him, just tried to take it to the outside of his right foot and use the pace of the ball coming in. Got a good effort, it just went over the crossbar. Really good play from the centre forward to get in front of the defender there. Jack Barnum, who joined Aldershot from Maidstone, he did play against Southend United earlier on this season in Maidstone colours. Started off his career at Chelmsford City and came on for his first appearance as a substitute on Tuesday night. Gets a place in the starting lineup today as Ashby Hammond drop kicks the ball forward towards him. It's headed away by the Southend United defence, and then the Blues can't get it under control in the middle of the park. Back forward from the Aldershot back line, and this time Arnold will collect for Blues. Rolls it out quickly to Cav Miley. Miley onto Hobson, has a look up, long ball over the top, looking for the run of Cardwell or Mooney. Cardwell will get there on the right hand side of the penalty area, plays the ball off of Kenlock, and then it will be cleared by Aldershot. And his father is Hobson, who nods back on to Gus Scott Morris. Now Dan Mooney on the right hand side, stayed with Scott Morris. The ball back from the Southend United right wing back is overhit. Yeah, it will be through to the Aldershot goalkeeper. The first one wasn't a bad ball. As you said, they had Mooney and initially Cardwell as well making that run. It's too long for Mooney, so Harry Cardwell went and got on it. But then everybody else had just run inside, so Cardwell picks it up facing the touchline, 10 yards in. Nobody coming up to face him up to get that ball off of him. Ball brought down by Amaloza. Amaloza turns on the edge of the area, takes a deflection. Arnold gets down to his left-hand side and collects for Blues. Yeah, poor from Blues there. There's lots of bodies around the ball, but nobody closing him down. Elsewhere in the National League, Eastleigh 1, Altrincham 0, an early scoreline. Eastleigh inside those National League playoffs where Southend United would like to find themselves come the end of the season. Miley with the ball on the halfway line for Blues. It's just a whisker away from being intercepted by Barham, but he does find Fungook. Back onto Miley, now for Mooney on this right hand side. Gus Scott Morris in an advanced position, looks to get an early ball into the box, comes off of the Aldershot man and out for a Southend United throw. Looks a definite ploy from Blues. A couple of occasions now, probably Jack Bridges size, where anybody's got it in a wide position, their first thought is I'm going to get a crossing. Scott Morris with the throw to Fungook, back to Scott Morris, right hand side of the penalty area, gets to the byline, cross in, it's out of play before it gets there for an Aldershot goal kick. Blues 0, Aldershot 0 on BBC Essex Sport. Listening to commentary on 95.3 FM DAB and via the BBC Sport website and app. Blues fans around the ground, fairly quiet at the moment, but they'd love to see their side get back to winning ways and importantly score some goals as well. Yeah, good turnout from the Aldershot supporters as well. And it was at Aldershot earlier this season. Southend United were beaten by 2-0 back in November as Okieng nods on to Barham. He chests it off down the right hand side for Glover onto Amaloza, and then it's back to Barham and it comes out for a Aldershot corner, comes off a Southend United man. It was quick play down the right hand side by Aldershot and they almost make Blues pay. Yeah, it was a terrific play from, I think, when Barham's chest initially, and he little chest pass,
ball slipped down the side and the lad got to it right on the byline, cut it across, Barham first to it again. Couldn't see whether it was Nathan Ralph or Ollie Kensdale that it come off. Not sure, they knew a lot about it. Barham's just got it on target.
Corner in from the right hand side, over the head of everyone. It will be chased out down the left by Frost. Frost keeps the ball in play. Scott Morris has got to get back with him. Edge of the area, cross in, diving header from Barham, which he's directed wide, and that will be a goal kick. He was appealing for the corner, but some worrying times there for Blues.
Yeah, on this left hand side, the lad run out to come to pick it up, and he had support. So Scott Morris ran past the man that was running to pick up the man that was closest to the halfway line. Instead of just going, well, you can have it and play it back to him, that's fine, but nobody's going in behind us. They got in behind, and Blues were fortunate when Barham went for it just outside the 6-yard box, missed his header completely, falling backwards.
In the Premier League, Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0. Quite a few Bournemouth connections in this Aldershot side, left over from when former Southend United manager Mark Molesley was in charge, as the ball comes over the top from Sean Hobson for Blues. Tyler Corner coolly collects that and plays it across the back, and then Henlock's under a bit of pressure from Mooney, and enough pressure for the ball to go out for a Southend United throw in the Aldershot half.
It didn't look as comfortable as Tyler Corner did a moment before that, did it?
Gus Scott Morris will look to throw this one long and just wiping any moisture off the ball. We have had some rain in Southend here this morning, as Funguk play it back to Scott Morris. Cross in for the Southend United man, away by the Aldershot defence and helped on by Barham. Amaloza will chase up against Nathan Ralph, and Nathan Ralph goes down under challenge, as does Amaloza, but Ollie Kensdale is the one who will get to the ball first for Blues. Down the left-hand flank for Miley, on to Murphy, looks to quickly get Jack Bridge away, but again Tyler Cordner is there for the visitors, and the ball is back in the possession of the men in red, white and blue. Ball over the top looking for Barnum. Kensdale gets there first, and it will just trickle through for Steve Arnold.
Clever from Barham as well, because he knew he was second best with Ollie Kensdale there. He just jumped and gave him a little nudge in the back, took Ollie Kensdale underneath it, just had too much pace on for him, so he run through to Steve Arnold. But it was cute play, because he ain't the biggest Barham, and he knows it's going to be a second best battle for him up there against at least two of Southend centre-halves.
He's looking lively so far though, isn't he, the Aldershot front man, as York take the lead against Dorking elsewhere in the National League. Blues go to Dorking a week on Tuesday. Ball out of play for an Aldershot throw in their own half over on the far side. Almost 14 minutes gone here at Roots Hall. Southend United 0, Aldershot 0. Long throw out from the back. It's over the head of Amaloza, and then Barham will get away from his man. Only as far though as Sean Hobson, who will poke it out of play for another Aldershot throw, this time midway point of the Southend United half over on that far side. It's going to be taken short to Pendlebury. Back over on the right, goes back to Cordner, who's got Cardwell for company. He will find Corey Jordan, who got one of those goals in the reverse fixture, and then great charge down there from Kenlock's clearance from Dan Mooney. He's conceded the throw-in, but he's definitely putting the pressure on the left back for Aldershot.
Yeah, brilliantly using the conditions to make his challenge as well, because he's nowhere near getting across there, so just got on his backside and slid across, and the pace took him and managed to block the clearance. Terrific play from him. And
Southend United won the ball back from the throw, but Partington, the captain, will win it back for the visitors. Long ball over the top looking for Glover, headed away by Jack Bridge, and Pendlebury will keep it in play over on that right hand side, inside to Partington. He'll go back to Jordan at the back for the shots. Now to Kenlock. Spent time playing at Barrow earlier on this season. Now the ball over the top will be collected by Nathan Ralph and scissor kicked forward by the Southend United captain. Nodded away by the defence and then slipped through from Mooney to Murphy. Murphy scores! And in the opening 16 minutes here at Roots Hall, Southend United go 1-0 up. Lovely ball through from Dan Mooney to set Reece Murphy on his way. He gets his first goal of the season. It's Southend United 1, Aldershot 0.
And that was the important bit, the speed of that transition. Aldershot giving the ball away just inside their own half. Dan Mooney picking it off and saw Reece Murphy pull away to the right hand side, and the timing and the weight of the pass was perfection. Any longer touch, defender gets across there. Any heavier pass, ball goes through to the keeper. Weighted it absolutely perfectly for Reece Murphy just to run on, eyes on goal and slip it past the goalkeeper. No problem whatsoever. Lovely connection between the two of them.
Blues get the first goal of this game. We spoke to Reece Murphy during the week on BBC Essex Sport, and he said what a frustrating season it's been for him, with the long injury layoff that he had at the start of the season and then a couple of niggles since, but back amongst the starting lineup and back amongst the goals now for Blues, as the ball is out from the back for Southend United along the left hand side for Wes Funga, because the sun just starts to try and creep through the clouds here at Roots Hall. The rain dripping off of the stand in front of us, where Kevin Mayer and his assistant Darren Curry are shielding their eyes in front of us. Blues have possession over on the left hand side of the pitch. Cav Miley goes back to Ollie Kensdale, onto his captain Nathan Ralph, who's under pressure from Pendlebury, and Blues have been forced back into the corner here, but Kensdale plays it coolly onto Miley. Gus Scott Morris wants the ball on the right hand side. It will come square to Dan Mooney first. Mooney with the assist to that Murphy goal, plays a 1-2 with the goal scorer. Now he'll go over to the left hand side looking for Jack Bridge. It'll be intercepted though by Glover, and now Aldershot can break forward through Amaluza, right hand side of the penalty area, short pass in for Glover, edge of the area, turns, shoots, deflections into the arms of Steve Arnold, who just puts out his hand to calm everything down and collects the ball for the Blues. 1-0.
That was an example of what I was talking about before the game there. Dan Mooney picked that up, played a great little 1-2 with Reece Murphy, and then should have gone in to centre forwards again, looked to play forward, but instead tries to hit essentially 30-40 yards square ball, and it's just got too far to go, and it allows all the shot defenders to step out. So again, it was a great 1-2 just inside your own half. Now go and do it again in the final third, push up, and then when the defender comes in, then you can get it out to Jack Bridge, because nobody there to intercept the pass then.
Miley to Murphy, holds the ball up and then shelters it back to Cav Miley, onto Funguk. Left hand side, Blues 1-0 up. He's going to try and take on his man Pendlebury, and he just manages to find Nathan Ralph as he goes to ground. Onto Murphy, short pass through to Cardwell. Cardwell's touch takes the ball away from him and allows Aldershot possession, as Ashby Hammond will clear long, looking for the head of Barnum, but Hobson will win that header up against the Aldershot front man. One back in midfield by the shots, and now Gus Scott Morris should clear the ball, and instead he plays the dummy and wins the throw-in for Southend United.
Yeah, that may not have come off there, but it was a nice little 1-2 down the centre of the pitch. Reece Murphy in the first place, then got the next one back, turned, and then tried to do exactly the same thing around the edge of the box with Harry Cardwell, and it didn't quite come off. But because you're in that tight area, that means there's still blue shirts. It's not easy for Aldershot to get away, but if it does come off, your next one's a look at goals.
Cardwell onto Murphy, onto the halfway line for Cav Miley, square pass for Wes Funguk. Now Nathan Ralph will join in the Southend United possession, goes back to Funguk. Southend United just forced backwards to Kensdale, onto Ralph. He slides it along for Murphy, has a look up, he can see the run of Cardwell. Jordan will be there ahead of the Southend United striker, and it will not be kept in play by the Aldershot defender over on that far side, and it will be a throw-in to Southend United.
Yeah, Reece Murphy just holding his hands up, realised he didn't have to force that. He did brilliantly well to come off and get it to feet, then turned. Doesn't really want to be trying to drop 20-30 yard balls over a single defender's head for Harry Cardwell in a 5 yard space with his left foot. Play another simple ball and go and get him around the box and go and get the second ball off of Harry Cardwell.
Miley back to Funguk. Southend United just having to go back to the halfway line. Dan Mooney wants the ball. Kensdale plays it across to Hobson, and Barham was close to getting on the end of that. Has found Mooney now on the right hand side. It's just the wrong option as Murphy had already started to make his run.
Yeah, it was, but Murphy absolutely slaughtered him. As you say, he showed the feet, and just as Moody's head went down to play it, Rhys Murphy spun away as Barham gets in behind.
Chipped over the top for Barham on the left hand side. He'll go back to Okieng. On to Partington. Now Kenlock and Aldershot can play the ball around at the back, trailing by a goal to nil. Rhys Murphy getting the Blues goal in the 16th minute here at Roots Hall. 21 played now as Ashby Hammond goes short for Cordner. He's going to go on a run. Is the Aldershot centre back, and he slipped it through for Barham. Barham should score, and he hasn't. He has missed the target. He just looped wide of the right hand post. And that's a let off for Southend United.
Very much. I bet brilliant ball from Tyler Cordner. Did well, picked it up, 10 yards outside his own penalty area, cut inside and just carried the ball forward. Great movement from Barham. Left Sean Hobson had no idea where he'd gone. Made a great run behind him. Fortunately for Blues, just as he went to hit it, just had a little bobble up and it went off the side of his foot over the crossbar. Otherwise Blues was in deep trouble. Great run from him, a really good pass from Tyler Cordner. Almost matched the Mooney pass for Blues goal.
So Southend United leading by a goal to nil as we approach the midway point of this first half. Nathan Ralph, the Southend United captain, has the ball just a couple of yards inside the Aldershot half. He tries to chip it over the top, looking for Harry Cardwell.
Didn't give him much chance though, did it?
Find Ashby Hammond, the Aldershot goalkeeper, and Kenlock plays the ball looking down this left-hand channel for Amaluza. Cleared away by Sean Hobson and out for an Aldershot throw inside their own half for Kenlock, who's spent a long part of his career with Ipswich. He was on loan at Colchester United last season, left Ipswich in the summer, joined Barrow, and now finds himself at Aldershot as Blues win the ball back through Dan Mooney, but he's out of play as he does so, and that's another Aldershot throw down this near side in their own half. Bit of sand down on some parts of the pitch where it's been particularly wet this morning. And lots of games in the non-league world off. We'll have all these scores for you at half-time and full-time here on BBC Essex Sports. Aldershot with the ball on the halfway line through Kenlock. He wants options. He's going to go back to Jordan. Now Southend United can try and press high as Okieng goes back to Jordan this time, and they'll spread play across to the right hand side of their half where Cordner is. He will go back to Jordan on the edge of his own penalty area. Now on for Kenlock. Aldershot just enjoying some possession, but they're not gaining too much ground at the moment. They might well now though, as Cordner has a look up and chips the ball forward, again looking for that run of Jack Barham, but it's misdirected and Steve Arnold will collect comfortably on the edge of his own area.
And that was good from Blues because they just didn't get sucked into it. They went, right, you want to keep knocking passes across your back three, we'll just sit back here and watch you do it because we're winning 1-0 and you're going nowhere. And then when they did finally try to force it through, it was too straight a ball and just run through to Steve Arnold.
Partington over on the right hand side for Aldershot, finds Cordner, who's in a more advanced position, back to his captain. Low ball forward for Glover. Now back onto Cordner. So Southend United leading by a goal to nil. Aldershot just trying to settle things down with the ball at their feet. Cordner back onto Jordan. Cardwell will just come close to try and put some pressure on as the long ball forward is headed away by Nathan Ralph. Back forward by Partington. Glover was in an offside position, and so Nathan Ralph had time to clear there, but he's just skewed the ball out of play for another Aldershot throw over on that far side. It's back to Cordner on the halfway line. Now Partington, his low ball forward will find Kensdale. He was challenged late there by Pendlebury, and that'll be a free kick to Southend United in their own half.
Yeah, there's sometimes he invites that Ollie Kensdale. He's got great feet and he invites the forward to have a challenge and trusts his ability to skip round him. Unfortunately, if the forward gets it wrong or is clumsy like that, he's going to catch one or two. Fortunately, there was no great damage for him there.
Cav Miley has the ball. His former side, Eastleigh, are now 2-0 up against Altrincham, where Southend United go next weekend. Maidenhead leading Maidstone by a 1-0, and Scunthorpe 1 up against Wealdstone as Miley plays the ball forward for Cardwell. Quick layoff for Mooney, slips it on for Gus Scott Morris into the area. His low ball forward won't be, well, it's on to Cardwell, and then it comes off of Jordan and behind for the Southend United corner. Not where Gus Scott Morris intended it, but Southend United have a corner from it.
No, and he actually wanted to put the ball in a fraction earlier, but just as he planted his left foot, it caught the ball and knocked it on an extra couple of feet, so he had to just take that extra step and then get the cross in as well. It just delayed the cross for him and allowed the defender to get back across there.
Southend United leading by 1-0. Dan Mooney will take this corner from the right-hand side. Everyone bar Ollie Kensdale of outfield players in as it's headed away by corner, comes back out to Funguk, who can't get his shot away, but it comes off of Barham for a Southend United throw on this near side, which Gus Scott Morris will come across to take. He's got his England at Sea game coming up on Tuesday at Altrincham. He's as part of the final squad for that, the best of the non-league players. Taken short to Mooney on the edge of the area, has got his back to goal, lays it off for Funguk. Funguk back out on the right hand side for Scott Morris, on for Hobson, tries to play the 1-2 with Funguk and then charged down by Mooney as Aldershot looked to clear it, and that will be a throw to the shots on this near side.
Yeah, I mean, that was terrific from Blues, because you could see exactly what they were trying to do, what we were talking about, bouncing little 10-yard balls around the edge of the box. Unfortunately, as what you might call the point man, the man whose feet it goes into, probably turned out to be the wrong one. You don't really want Sean Hobson being that one.
Though taken short, and then Murphy wins it back. On for Cardwell, whose first touch just puts it in the path of Kenlock, who clears upfield towards Amaluza. Challenge comes in, but Okien wins it back. Onto Pendlebury, now Partington. And now Cordner getting forward onto Amaluzo, just loops the ball up in the air, and Hobson will come across and clear for Southend United. Out of play over on the far side. We've had 28 minutes played. Southend United 1, Aldershot 0. Ball at the back for the shots. Jordan onto Kenlock. Now Frost comes back in support of his defence. He's got Scott Morris alongside him. It'll go back to Jordan on the edge of his area. And now on to Tyler Cordner. 14 appearances for Blues, Tyler Cordner, and then went and joined Mark Molesley at Aldershot. He was sacked earlier on this season as Barnum chest down and turns, brought down by Hobson. That will be a free kick to Aldershot and a yellow card for Sean Hobson. He hacks down Jack Barham on the edge of the area, and the visitors have a free kick in a dangerous position.
Yeah, again, Barham, terrific play from him, came into his feet. Sean Hobson trying to win it from behind him. Barham's cute enough and clever enough just to spin away from him. Thought the referee might have played a little bit of advantage, because, as I say, Barham had actually got away and regained his feet and had a shooting opportunity. But the referee had already blown, or was quick to blow, and probably rightly cautioned Sean Hobson. Cordner fancies this one by the looks of it.
Tyler Cordner and Oliver Pendlebury standing over the ball for Aldershot. The referee just marks out the wall for Southend United. Harry Cardwell, Sean Hobson and Ollie Kensdale, the three-man wall for the Blues, put in place by Scott Simpson. So almost half an hour played. Free kick, 25 yards out. Pendlebury curls it above the bar, out for a goal kick for Aldershot.
Yeah, poor effort, to be perfectly honest. Give it far too much pace. Was never going to come down from there.
So Steve Arnold just waiting for the ball back to get things back underway here at Roots Hall. It's Eastleigh 2, Altrincham 1, and that game at the Silver Lake. All the scores from around the country and the county coming up for you on BBC Essex Sport throughout the afternoon, and we've got reaction between 5 and 6. Still plenty of football to be played though. 15 minutes to go till half-time. Southend United 1, Aldershot 0. Cordner has the ball on the edge of his area. Will go back to Ashby Hammond, who will clear long. And then Hobson should be able to clear that upfield, only as far though as Okieng. Okieng will go back to Kenlock. Aldershot again can just have some possession. Will Southend United mind this when they've got it at the back? Is when they get it forward in those dangerous areas that...
No, they shouldn't, because obviously what you don't want is like Harry Cardwell just going chasing one defender after another and nobody closing down behind him. If Aldershot have got good possession but it's deep in their own half, just let them have it. They're not going anywhere. Steve Arnold very nearly gives it away, but then there comes a time where everybody's set and then you go, right, now we'll press, and it's getting that balance between when to press and when to back off and just let them have it.
And Dan Mooney is running at the Aldershot defence, and he's just run that one out of play for an Aldershot throw deep in their own half.
Yeah, he'd run really down a dead end because Gus Scott Morris is already standing out there and he's standing still, almost to either say, well, give it to me and then I'll give it back to you, or go somewhere else. But eventually he's just running, there's just a bunch of defenders, he's got nowhere to go. So Gus Scott Morris then could go, well, if you're going to come in here, I'm going to spin away from you. If you're not going to use me, I don't want to stand still.
Ball at the back for Aldershot. Cordner, almost gives that away to Harry Cardwell. He's looked comfortable on the ball so far as Cordner, but that time he almost went without the ball. Aldershot still have it though over on the right hand side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job he's a big unit because he got his body between the way and Harry Cardwell couldn't shift him.
And he has the ball in his own half, looking to slip it on for Tyler Frost. One back by Blues as Cav Miley will lay it off for Nathan Ralph, and the Aldershot centre back can get back in position. Mooney back onto Hobson, who was booked for that foul on just a couple of moments ago. Has the ball back at his feet. Southend, Colchester United even go a goal down at Leyton Orient. Moncur with a penalty at Brisbane Road. Wally Kensdale for Southend United onto his captain Nathan Ralph. He's got Oliver Pendlebury chasing him, and he'll go back to Kensdale on the edge of his area. Now onto Arnold, and he hasn't caught the best of that ball, has Arnold.
Exactly what we were talking about at the start of the game, both for him and for Barham on his chance. Just those balls bobbling up on what's starting to be a real unreliable surface.
Kenlock goes back to Jordan, as I mentioned. Colchester United a goal down. Former player George Moncur with the goal as a ball over the top is being chased by Glover up against Ralph on the right hand side of the penalty area for Aldershot. He's got Amaluza in support, being forced backwards. Captain Partington will send it back towards Glover. Sliding challenge comes in from Nathan Ralph. He times that well to set Dan Mooney on his way, and he just got overexcited there, did Dan Mooney, and overhits it past Murphy and Cardwell and out for an Aldershot goal kick.
Exactly, a complete contrast to the goal, where he picked it up and just looked up and saw that pass and played it there. He tried to force it and just rushed it. Blues had done well to win it back on the halfway line, but there's just nobody up with him. I couldn't even see the pass he was trying to hit.
Well,
Rhys Murphy down.
Rhys Murphy is down for Southend United. We're going to have a brief stoppage here as the Southend United physio John Gowans comes on to the pitch. Looks like he's stretching out Murphy's ankle, and that's not what the Blues striker who got the goal.
Calf, Victoria.
He's rubbing his calf actually. I thought he was trying to flex out the ankle, but the Southend United striker who got the goal in the 16th minute here at Rootsall and has struggled with injury all season will not want any further disruptions.
Yeah, you were just saying about will Blues be comfortable with Aldershot knocking it about the back? Yes, they will up to a point, but a couple of occasions they've shown someone like Tyler Cordner, if you just stay off him and let him, he's got enough about him to bring the ball forward as he's shown, and he can hit a pass. So I wouldn't be giving him too much time on the ball. I might say to him, well, we'll shove it across, so you've got to shift it off to one of the other centre-halves because they're nowhere near as adept as Tyler Cordner is. Murphy looks like he could well be okay.
He's put the thumbs up to his head coach Kevin Mayer as he comes off the pitch, and he'll have a quick word with him before he's allowed back on. And the rest of the team who have had the opportunities to take on some fluids are all back ready on for Luca Ashby Hammond to take this goal kick.
You know, that last one with Dan Mooney, you do wonder sometimes whether he's been out so long that sometimes he's trying to prove what a good player he is, and in certain instances he just forces it too much. You see what a good player he is from that first pass for Blues goal. He hasn't got to prove it every time he gets on the ball.
Tyler Cordner urging his side to come nearer as he has the ball at the back, on for Jordan and then Kenlock. 10 minutes to go until half time. Southend United leading Aldershot by a goal to nil here on 95.3 FM, DAB and the BBC Sport website. Long ball forward is blocked by Blues, and then it comes back over the top and through for Steve Arnold on the edge of his area. Hasn't had too much to do. Barnum with a couple of opportunities for Aldershot, but hasn't managed to get them on target as Funga brings the ball down in the middle of the park, on for Mooney. Mooney racing forward on the right hand side, out for Scott Morris, first time ball into the area. Cardwell's making his way in, it's headed away by the Aldershot defence. It will come back out for Mooney. He'll bring Hobson into play for Southend United. Now Scott Morris looking for options, goes back to Hobson, has a look up, now for Cardwell. He'll have to bring that away from the edge of the Aldershot penalty area, but he'll keep possession and find Miley. Now on for Hobson, tries to play the ball round Frost, he plays it off of him, and that'll be a Southend United throw. That
was a great attack and very nearly ended up their goal. That was better from Dan Mooney there, because that time he picked it up, committed a defender, brought the defender to him, and timed the pass perfection, and again waited to go Scott Morris, which allowed him to put the cross in early, and Harry Carball was within a gnats of getting across the defender.
Cross in from Scott Morris, just catches that all wrong, and it's behind for a goal kick. But there was another good turn there as the throw-in came in from Wes Fungo. There's a couple of nice movements there from the Southend United midfielder.
Yeah, that last attack, he beat the player with his first touch as the ball came to him, controlled it and beat the player with that first touch all in one move. It was terrific from him.
Now he's picked up the ball in defence and played it on for Nathan Ralph to clear long. Out play for an Aldershot throw over on the far side. Blues leading by a goal to nil. The Aldershot head coach Ross McNeely is in discussion on the touchline, his side trailing by a goal to nil as it's headed away out of the Southend United defence. Brought down by Glover and back to Cordner, has a look up, looking for the run of Tyler Frost. Frost doesn't quite catch that right, under pressure from Gus Scott Morris, and Steve Arnold has the ball in his hands once again. Yeah, the
great movement from Tyler Frost, because he knew he was running offside and he checked back and then he went again, he checked again, and then very, very nearly got in. The timing of the run eventually was very, very good. It ended up a 50-50 ball trying to pull down, just got away from him. But clever movement from him.
Southend United haven't created too much in front of goal, but they are the ones who are ahead through a 16th minute Rhys Murphy shot.
Well, our colleagues alongside us covering for Aldershot bemoaning the fact that Blues have scored from their one chance they've had in the game. Sound familiar? The reverse.
Sounds like me and Glenn Pennyfather on Tuesday night at Boreham Wood, where Blues did create a few chances through this strike force of Harry Cardwell and Rhys Murphy, but they weren't able to break down the Boreham Wood defence, and it was Boreham Wood who got the winner from the spot. Pendlebury has possession for Aldershot. Goes back to Jordan, now to Kenlock. Murphy and Mooney comes running in even to try and charge that down. Southend United win it back at the back through Hobson, and Gus Scott Morris looked to go over the top. Frost knocks it out of play for a Southend United throw.
They broke there, Sean Hobson, because it came at him at a horrible height, skipped just in front of him and skipped up, so he realised he couldn't do much with it, just made sure he got something on it, just head it back away from his own defensive third.
Throw into Southend United just by the home dugout, which Scott Morris will take. Finds, well, almost found Mooney in space, but Partington comes across to collect for Aldershot. Plays it onto Pendlebury, crosses the halfway line with it. On for
Good touch.
Ameloso, dumps it through for Glover, but runs slightly ahead of him, and Kensdale can pick it up for Blues. Out for Jack Bridge on the left-hand side. Dan Mooney even onto Jack Bridge. Mooney switched over to that left-hand flank, and now Bridge will take on his man. Gets the cross in, away by Cordner, and it will be cleared upfield. No one there though for Aldershot, and Kensdale can let it bounce a couple of times before finding Sean Hobson.
Jack Bridge has got the memo as well about early crosses. Many a time over recent weeks, it's difficult to criticise Jack Bridge because he's been Blues' main outlet, but there's just been times, especially of late, where he's just wanted to beat that man a third, the fourth and the fifth time. There he got half a yard, put the cross in.
Mooney, midway point of the Aldershot half to Funguk, brings Nathan Ralph into play, back for Funguk, lets the ball run across his body, tries to find Murphy and play the 1-2, but Aldershot are wise to it and bring the ball away. Into the Southend half, Frost, edge of the area, up against Hobson. Frost gets the shot in. There isn't a foul, there isn't a deflection off of Hobson, who slid in front of the shot, and it's gone wide of Steve Arnold's goal and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that was the best one they've had, Aldershot. Again, they carried it out from the back, and picked it up on the left-hand side, Frost, and then when he cut inside, I'm just expecting him pass it inside that post, and it's almost like he's tried to lace it, and it might have popped up on him again, just a fraction, and he drove it wide of the right-hand post. I'm thinking, you've just got to pass that in. Don't have to hit that hard. Real good chance for him.
Chances are totting up for the visitors, but it's still Southend United who lead by a 1-0 with just under 3 minutes of this first half to go. Cardwell flicks on. Murphy had already started his run, so Cordner can collect on the edge of his area for Aldershot. Plays it upfield, away by Hobson, controlled by Funguk on the halfway line for Ralph. Back to Miley, who's dropped deep for Blues. Up for Reece Murphy, who holds the ball up and goes to ground. I didn't hear the referee's whistle there, but he did give the free kick as Murphy was bundled over.
Yeah, I think it was Corey Jordan just subtly gave him a nudge in the back and buried his face in the mud.
The Blues with a free kick, which Cav Miley will take. Deep in the Aldershot half, with 2 minutes to go until half time. Miley's just coming away from the ball. Dan Mooney is over it. Left-footed in towards the penalty spot, collected comfortably by Ashby Hammond, who looks to release the ball early down this left-hand side for the run of Barnum. Up against Miley. Southend need to get bodies back. Miley on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Has got players making their way in. His cross is blocked away. Only as far as Frost in support. Now Kenlock in the Southend United half. On for Okieng, tries to turn Funguk, and Funguk gets a foot in, and it will be out for an Aldershot throw in line with the Southend penalty area.
Yeah, Funguk did well there as well, because he's just stayed off. He didn't come tight with Okieng, and so when he went to roll him, Funguk just went, okay, I'll drop back.
And now Reece Murphy has won the ball back off of Kenlock, and Southend United can bring it forward. Over the top from Miley for the run of Mooney down this right-hand side. Holds the ball up on the edge of the penalty area, makes the run, low ball in towards Murphy. Comes out, cleared away, not clear yet, and then it's the wrong pass out on the left-hand side, looking for Jack Bridge, and it's behind for an Aldershot goal kick, and that was frustrating there for you, Paul.
Just a question, was a shot not on for Funguk? He's coming out, he's looking at it from 20 yards out, he's coming up. Pick your spot, not saying you're going to score, but there's no one in front of you, and he tries to pick out Jack Bridge, it's going to be much more difficult for Jack anyway. It's frustrating. You just want to have a gamble from there.
Blues still leading by a 1-0 as Kensdale clears from the back, and Pendlebury can't keep it in play on the halfway line. Out for Southend United throw. We are 5 seconds away from finding out how much time we'll have added on at the end of this first half. The fourth official, Michael Scott, is showing 2 minutes of additional time at the end of the first 45. The ball flicked on for Cardwell towards Murphy, edge of the Aldershot penalty area, one back by Cordner. Okieng on for Partington. They'll go back to Cordner and he will look for that ball over the top for Barham, away by Nathan Ralph, and now it might drop here for Murphy, who can get a head on it, but not much more than that, and Kenlock can clear onto Frost. On for Partington now, and he'll go back to Cordner. Glover down the right hand side for Barham, looking to play it quickly on for Pendlebury, and then free kick will be Aldershot's inside the Southend United half as Pendlebury goes down under challenge over on that far side. Barnum even, sorry, couldn't see who that was, crouched down on the floor, but it's Barham who is fouled by the Southend United man, and it's a free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, it is just his feet too quick. They're the sort of fouls a player of the type of Barham will get lots and lots of, because he shows you the ball and like you lunge in because you think you can nick it up, and he just nicks it away enough to take it away from you, but his feet don't move, so you end up kicking him, and he's won a free kick in a dangerous area for Aldershot.
Kenlock with the ball into the penalty area. It's away by Miley, picked up on by Amaluza on the edge of the area, and the shot is blocked away from Frost at the second attempt. But Aldershot will still have possession. Kenlock, who's over on that right hand side of this defence from that free kick. Ball forward for Amaluza, sliding challenge comes in from Ralph, and then it's an early ball forward looking to set Reece Murphy on his way, is through to the goalkeeper Ashby Hammond, and that will be the first half over and done with as the referee's half-time whistle goes. Southend United leading by a goal to nil thanks to a 16th minute goal from Reece Murphy. They've had not a lot of other chances in front of goal, but the visitors, Aldershot, have had a couple of chances through Jack Barnum. They had a free kick, and Tyler Frost with his shot wide from the edge of the area, but Blues are in front and Reece Murphy has a goal to his name. Your thoughts on that first half, former Blues player and manager Paul Clark?
Well, it's pretty much the reverse of everything that's happened over the last couple of weeks. I think probably Aldershot might have shaded that half. Certainly they've created any number of half chances. They haven't had one chance quite as clear cut as Blues have had. As we said, Blues did particularly well on that when they won. Aldershot gifted the ball to them, a real quick turnaround. And it's funny, Victoria, people talk so often about possession and number of passes. How many goals, even in this day and age, and it's been forever true, how many goals are scored within 2 or 3 passes of winning the ball back, or the opposition gifting you the ball back, and that's all that happened there. Aldershot gifted back, Dan Mooney picks it up, perfectly weighted, placed the ball for Reece Murphy to run onto, and he's got all the time in the world, and a striker of his quality, that's what he wants. He's looking at the keeper and he buried it, no problem. All of Aldershot's chances have been, they've had to snatch at things, or it's a ball over the top and they've had to hit it quickly because somebody's putting them under pressure. But credit to their front two. Ollie Kinsdale's looked reasonably comfortable. The other two centre-halves haven't been comfortable with people running along the line and getting in behind, and they've got there a couple of times, Aldershot. They haven't had either the break or the composure, which probably, who was it, Tyler Frost at the end should have done a bit more composure. He passes that one in, and this game could have been all squared up. So Blues have got to step it up in the second half, and don't be content just to go, well, we're winning 1-0, we'll just sit back. I still think they've got to force the issue a little bit, because Aldershot have shown that they've got enough to get in and around the box. They haven't yet shown that they can score.
Southend United leading Aldershot by 1-0 at the break thanks to a 16th minute shot from Reece Murphy. Second half commentary to come from Roots Hall after the break. It's Southend United 1, Aldershot 0.
And it's the pattern. It's the pattern, because on my way to the ground and people are saying to me, Colchester United, they can't score at one end, and they end up sort of criticising the defence for conceding the goals that they lose by. But so often, overall, as you join us in all frequencies on BBC Essex, with Colchester United a goal down, overall, defensively, they've coped perfectly well with Leyton Orient, but they've made the mistake and they've been punished by it.
Yeah, they have, and the thing is, I think this afternoon, I don't think we were going to create as many chances as we have done in other games, because you're playing the top of the side, top of the league side away from home. So I think those wing backs have been sitting a little bit back, almost as a 5 to give us a little bit more protection. And that's when you do make sure that you're doing your job, make sure that everything you do is right. And I'm sure Peter Keller will look at that and think, I'd love to have that again and again and again, because realistically in his head he knows what he's got to do with it. He's got to clear it.
Thank you very much, David Gregory. Poor Figra Kelleher, a top bloke, but he's made a mistake in the first half. I think it was his initial control that allowed Smythe to get the ball, took him on, and Smythe was goal side, and Kelleher was desperate to get back in there and win it back for Colchester United. Too desperate. The contact came, in the opinion of the referee, Ross Joyce. He awarded the spot kick. George Moncur converted, and Colchester United, in what has been otherwise a very even contest, Colchester United have everything to do in the second half against by far the best defensive outfit in the division. It's going to be hard work at Brisbane Road after the interval for Colchester United to get anything out of this game. But at the break, it's Leyton Orient 1, Colchester United 0.
So the U's are trailing, the Blues are leading. All the half-time details on the way. 81333 if you want to text us and start your message with the word Essex after we've checked the travel with Tom.
Thanks, Glenn. And the main issue at the moment is on the M25, where the stop-start queues heading anti-clockwise into Essex at the Dartford Tunnel. Travel is back past Junction 2 for the Dartmouth interchange now. Looks there might have been an accident at Junction 2 there. Elsewhere, the roads are looking pretty healthy. In Epping Forest, it's slow on Woodridden Hill between Wake Arms roundabout and the M25 Junction 26. Travel time there is about 10 minutes. Elsewhere on public transport, there's disruption to trains across the county, with most services finishing at 6 tonight. That's due to strike action. And on Greater Anglia, buses are in for trains from Whittam to Newbury Park. You are advised to check before you travel. There'll be more BBC Essex travel at full time.
One couple from Essex, Nina and Simon Crouchman from Rowhedge, and they've just completed a challenge that most of us frankly can't even imagine. They have successfully rowed across the Atlantic.
When we got there, the current was just so strong. Everyone was like getting told, like, oh, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. We got in and it was just amazing, the atmosphere in the harbour.
It must feel really weird walking on solid ground again.
It is.
It's really weird.
The soles of your feet are hurting because they've not been used to being walked on.
Real Essex stories from real Essex people.
You imagine what your body's going to go through, but until it does go through it, it's quite a surreal feeling.
Join me, Sonia Watson, for breakfast. Weekdays from 6 on BBC Essex and BBC Sounds. BBC Essex Sport.
Afternoon to you, live from Brisbane Road, a very wet Brisbane Road. Latest for you in the Six Nations Rugby Union. Earlier today in the final round of games, Scotland beat Italy by 26 points to 14. France are currently heading for victory against Wales. They were a converted try down very early on in that game, France, in Paris, but it's currently France 27, Wales 7, early stages of the second half of that one. A little bit later on, at 5 o'clock, it is Ireland going for a Grand Slam up against England, who are not going for a Grand Slam. Right, let's run you through the half times then. We'll start in the Premier League. At the break, Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0, that's Douglas Luiz. Brentford 1, Leicester City 0, Matthias Jensen for Leicester. Chelsea Everton's a 5:30 start. Southampton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Pedro Porro with a goal right on the stroke of half time down on the south coast against rock bottom Southampton. And it's Wolves 0, Leeds United 1. Jack Harrison is on the score sheet for Leeds once again. In the Championship at half time, Blackpool now under the management of Mick McCarthy these days, but threatened by relegation. It's Blackpool 1, Coventry City 2. Latest scoreline for you in that one. Coventry, with games in hand, are gunning
for the playoffs, and who would put it against Mark Robins' side, given everything they've had to put up with as well, with various problems with pitches, with grounds over the years. So they're doing okay at the moment. Middlesbrough 1, Preston North End 0. Goalless, Millwall in 6th against second bottom Huddersfield Town. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham City 1. Reading 1, Hull City 1. Rotherham United 0, Cardiff City 1. That's a big game at the wrong end of the table. Stoke and Norwich are goalless. Sunderland and Luton likewise. And Watford 1, Wigan Athletic 0. Watford under Chris Wilder these days, he says, checking notes. Yes, he is still the manager the last time we checked. In the League 1, it's Accrington Stanley 0, MK Dons 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1, Cambridge United 0, Charlton Athletic 2. Cambridge can't buy a win and look to be heading back to League 2. Cheltenham Town 1, Exeter City 0. Cheltenham a good win at Peterborough last week, giving themselves hopes of climbing away from trouble. Derby County 0, Fleetwood Town 2. Ipswich in third 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Shrewsbury on the periphery of the playoff race. It finished earlier this afternoon. Lincoln City 0, Peterborough United 3. Morecambe 0, Oxford 1 at the break. Plymouth in second 1. Bottom of the table, Forest Green Rovers 0. Port Vale 1, Burton Albion 1. And it's goalless at half-time, 7th against 4th. Wycombe Wanderers against Barnsley. League 2 half-times to bring you here on BBC Essex. As you know here, Leyton Orient 1, Colchester United 0. The U's have got a big task on their hands in the second period if they're going to get anything from this game. AFC Wimbledon 0, Crawley Town 1. Earlier, Bradford 2, Hartlepool 2. Carlisle and Stevenage, Harrogate and Barrow are both goalless. Northampton Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. Rochdale 2, Swindon Town 2. Now Rochdale, bottom of the table, were 2-0 down inside 15 minutes through a brace from Charlie Austin, but have levelled things up. Salford City 2, Doncaster Rovers 1. Stockport County 1, Mansfield Town 0. Tranmere Rovers 0, Newport County 2. Newport going great guns under Graham Coughlin and climbing ever further from trouble. It's Walsall 0, Gillingham 0. In the National League, you know about Southend United 1, Aldershot Town 0, Rhys Murphy with the goal. Barnet 1, Notts County 1, Macaulay Langstaff, who else, with the goal for Notts County, but Idris Kanu levelling things up for Barnet on the stroke of half-time. Bromley 1, Bromley 0, I should say. The leaders Wrexham 0. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Oldham Athletic 0. Eastleigh 2, Altrincham 1. Goalless, FC Halifax against Yeovil. Gateshead against Torquay United. Maidenhead United 2, Maidstone United 2. And elsewhere in the National League, thank you David as he passes me a cup of coffee, don't want to spill that down myself. Scunthorpe United 2, Wealdstone 0. Scunthorpe are in last chance saloon for their survival hopes. Solihull Moors and Boreham Wood are goalless. Earlier, Woking 0, Chesterfield 1 at full time, and York City 1, Dorking Wanderers 0. Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 3, Hearts 0. Celtic the leaders 0, Hibernian 1, and Hibernian are down to 10 men in that game as well. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 0. Livingston 2, Ross County 0, and a full time from earlier for you. Rangers, given the Celtic scoreline, might be closing the gap. It is Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. That's a full-time scoreline for you from the lunchtime game. As far as the non-league scores go this afternoon, National South is now Chelmsford City 1, Worthing 2 at half-time. Chelmsford twice behind in that game. Big second half to come for them. Concord and Dartford postponed. Hungerford Town 0, Braintree Town 0. Braintree on a 12-game unbeaten run. Isthmian Premier, Bognor Regis Town 0, 4th place Canby Island 1. Canby though are 5 points behind the third position. Brightling Sea Region, it's looking all up for them to be honest. They're probably going to be heading out of the Isthmian Prem at the other end of the table. They're goalless at half time though against playoff chasing Cray Wanderers. Hastings United against Billericay Town postponed. Horsham 3, relegation threatened Bowers and Pitsea 0. And it's Margate 0, Aveley 1. Aveley still harbouring hopes of the title this season. Isthmian North, AFC Sudbury in second 1, Basildon United 0, Galston 1, East Thurrock United 0. Grays Athletic looking to get back into the top 5. Well, they're doing their part at least. Grays Athletic 1, Lowest of Town 0. Great Wakering Rovers threatened with relegation 0. Stowmarket Town 2. Stowmarket currently occupy the final playoff position. The leaders, United, being held 0-0 at half time by Felixstowe and Walton. Holbridge Sports against Bury Town, that one postponed. Not too surprising to be honest with you given the pitch at Lower Road. Malden and Tiptree and Coggeshall Town, they're scoreless at the break, and Whittam Town against Brentwood Town, that one postponed. And the Southern Central Division 1, mid-table Waltham Abbey 0, Kidlington 0, but it's all about next season now for the Abbots. We've also got Rugby Union finishing its season today as far as our senior Essex teams are concerned. We'll round all of that up for you in the final hour of the programme. Don't forget you can get in touch as well right up until 6 o'clock. 81333 to text us, start your message with the word Essex. You can tweet at BBC Essex Sport. You can WhatsApp us, starting your WhatsApp with Essex, 08000 321 333, essex.sport@bbc.co.uk on the emails, and give us a ring, 0800 111 40 41. But what will you be reacting to? It's BBC Essex Sport, and it's 4 o'clock.
BBC Essex Sport.
It's all closing up at the bottom of League Two, and Colchester United, after today's results, might be looking even more nervously over their shoulders unless they can turn things around here, but they're going to have to do it against the leaders Leyton Orient.
Chested down, that might be a mistake by Kelleher. Smart takes advantage of it, tumbles over, referee says penalty. A mistake by Kelleher, who was desperate to get back. There wasn't a lot of physical pressure on Smythe. He felt the contact, he went down. Controversial decision by Ross Joyce, but it's a penalty to Leyton Orient. The penalty will be taken by George Moncur up against O'Hara, and he scores. He sends O'Hara the wrong way, and George Moncur, the former Colchester United midfielder, has put Leyton Orient in front, and the U's will have to come from behind if they're going to get anything out of this game, because it's Leyton Orient 1, Colchester United 0.
It's now 553 minutes since Colchester United scored a goal. They haven't scored in their last 5. They've never gone 6 on the run without scoring. Something is going to have to change in the second half here against the leaders. As for Southend United, they have found the back of the net as they look to snap a 4-match losing streak in the National League.
Nodded away by the defence and then slipped through from Mooney to Murphy. Murphy scores! And in the opening 16 minutes here at Roots Hall, Southend United go 1-0 up. Lovely ball through from Dan Mooney to set Reece Murphy on his way. He gets his first goal of the season. It's Southend United 1, Aldershot 0. Corner. He's going to go on a run. Is the Aldershot centre back, and he slipped it through for Barham. Barham should score, and he hasn't. He has missed the target. He just looped wide of the right-hand post.
The Blues hanging on to a 1-0 lead at the break there in the Premier League. Aston Villa, Brentford, Tottenham and Leeds all 1-up in their respective matches. In the Six Nations Rugby Union, Scotland have already beaten Italy. France are heading for a thumping win against Wales. They're 34-12 up. As far as the non-league football goes, Chelmsford behind and Braintree drawing. Isthmian Premier title hopefuls Averley 1-0 up at Margate. Canvey chasing the playoffs in 4th position. They're a goal up as well. Bowers and Pitsea 3-0 down in their relegation struggle. Brightlingsea Regent currently goalless, and the Isthmian North looking for 21 consecutive wins. Hashtag United at the top are 0-0 against Felixstowe and Walton. Can the Blues stretch their lead? Can the U's here come from behind and do something very, very special, and do something only one other side has done here, which is come to Leyton Orient and win? We're about to find out. BBC Essex Sport at 4
BBC Essex Sport.
Welcome back to Roots Hall. Victoria Polly alongside Paul Clark for commentary of Southend United and Aldershot. Second half on the way. Both sets of players back out onto the pitch. Blues leading by a 1-0. Thanks to Reece Murphy's 16th minute strike. And there is going to be a change at half time for the visitors, and it's going to be former Southend United youngster Michael Class coming on for Aldershot into the huddle.
Ochieng.
And he's replaced Henry Ochieng for the visitors. So Michael Class, who had 12 Football League appearances for Blues in his time here, and many others as part of the age groups at Southend United, will have a chance to impact this second half for the away side.
Yeah, it could be argued that he was one of many that were chucked into first team football far too early, and some of them are now just coming to fruition. We were just talking at half time about Emil Eckwood, got laughed out of the place really, and scoring for fun at the moment.
Yeah, at Maidenhead is Emil Aqua. So just the one change then at half time. We're back underway, live and exclusive here on BBC Essex Sport. Southend United kicking from right to left as we look on. in this second half. No changes for Blues at half-time. They've got Steve Arnold in goal, the wing-backs Jack Bridge and Gus Scott-Morris, Nathan Ralph, Sean Hobson and Ollie Kensdale, the centre-backs, Cav Miley and Wes Funguk in midfield with Dan Mooney just ahead of them, and Harry Cardwell and the goal scorer Reece Murphy up front. The bench, Lomas, Powell, Taylor, Ray and Demetriou, as the ball is played over the top for Aldershot into the arms of Steve Arnold. So that one change at half-time for Aldershot. They've got Luke Ashby-Hammond in goal, Miles Kenlock, Tyler Cordner, Corey Jordan across the back. Now Michael Class comes into midfield alongside Tyler Frost, Joe Partington and Oliver Pendlebury, Justin Amaluza and Ryan Glover, the wingers, and Jack Barham down the middle. Thomas, McCoy, Addison, Hutchinson are the rest of the substitutes for the visitors, and Nathan Ralph is dispossessed by Pendlebury in defence, and it's out of play for a Southend United throw on this near side. What do you want to see in this second half from Blues, Paul Clark, who are a goal up, but it was Aldershot who had the better of the chances in that first half?
Well, they certainly had more of the chances. I mean, nobody had a better chance than Reece Murphy, but with Blues, it's, as you say, they are protecting the leads, but we don't want to see them sit back as the ball just gets tipped over the top for Jack Bridge now.
Cardwell onto Bridge. Bridge left hand side of the penalty area. Back heels it on for Funguk. Gets the ball into the box, cleared by the first man. It should come out for Amaluza. It does. He lays it off to Glover, who elects to go back to his captain Partington, who's almost muscled off the ball by Murphy. Runs into Miley, who does get the ball back. The referee says he's done that illegally though, and that will be a free kick to Aldershot in their own half.
Yeah, I think it was actually a foul from Murphy coming back. But yeah, with the Blues, it's, we said about hanging off. Don't let Tyler Cordner have time on the ball at the back, because the two boys up front have got good movement and will run along the lines, and Tyler Cordner's good enough to pick him off. Put him under pressure, let him knock it off to somebody else. And when Blues get it, don't be in too much of a rush. If it's not on to go forward early, just be content to play a couple of passes and bide your time. When it is like they did for the goal, by all means go straight for the throat, but you haven't got to go for the throat every time you win it straight away.
Amaluza with the ball across the face of goal. Barnum was in there, but it'll run out of play for a Southend United goal kick. 5,990 fans in Roots Hall this afternoon, 420 visiting fans behind Steve Arnold's goal in this second half, who have been in good voice all the way through this one, but their side are a goal down as the ball goes back to Kensdale. Just having to race back to get that onto Steve Arnold, and then under pressure from Barnum, all he can do is put that out for a corner, and Southend United have unnecessarily conceded that by putting themselves under pressure at the back.
Yeah, that was sloppy all round. I mean, it was a misplaced back pass initially from Gus Scott-Morris, but then Steve Arnold and Ollie Kensdale, between them, far too casual, nobody making a decision, and they were just sauntering back, as you say, Byron putting under pressure.
Corner in, away by Cardwell, headed out towards Mooney, who flicks it on, and then he's fouled by an Aldershot man on the edge of the Southend United penalty area. That will be a free kick to Blues. Mooney has just stayed down after that challenge.
Hoping that's just winded. I think the lad caught him in the back as he was trying to spin away. But yeah, on that one earlier, all right, it's a mistake from Gus Scott-Morris, but there was plenty of time for Cardwell either to go out wide to allow Steve Arnold to come and pick it up and knock it across him, or for Cardwell or Kensdale rather, to go back and Steve Arnold to make the angle. But instead they got really tight with each other and nobody really took command, and it ended up a little bit tight for them.
Arnold with the free kick, looking for the head of Cardwell. He's been held off by Class. He's won back though by Scott Morris. The referee has spotted the foul, and that will be a free kick to Aldershot in their own penalty area.
Yeah, not sure whether it was Harry Cardwell holding someone or foot up from Gus Scott-Morris when he came in.
Whichever one it is, Aldershot have the free kick, which Ashby Hammond will take in his own penalty area. Blues leading by a 1-0. We've had 5 minutes of this second half. Ashby Hammond forward for Aldershot. He's looking for Glover. It's headed away by Ralph. That'll bounce out for a throw into Aldershot in front of the away dugout. And Cordner will take and go back towards Jordan at the back. This is what Aldershot did for much of the first half, as Corder plays the ball over the top, headed away by Kensdale. Bridge has it at his feet in his own half. He'll go back to Ralph, plays the long ball forward looking for Murphy. Murphy collects well. He's got Cardwell on the run, but he's going to go over diagonally towards Mooney, who gets a good first touch on the ball, but it's collected by Kenlock and then cleared at the back for Aldershot. Right idea, just not quite the execution, as Kensdale does well to bring the ball down in defence for Blues. Finds Ralph and then back onto Bridge.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. Dan Mooney, obviously, when he pulls that down, he's desperate to get it back onto his left foot, and if he gets it right and that touch brings it back inside onto his left foot, he's looking at a shot at goal. But very often when you do that, you're just bringing it back into the body of the defender, and it makes it easy for him.
Ralph with a header away out of defence for Blues, helped on by Sean Hobson. He's looking for Murphy, who holds off Cordner and allows Cardwell to get the nod down for the run of Jack Bridge. Jack Bridge, edge of the area for Blues, tries to get the shot away. It comes off with Jordan and it's out for a Southend United corner.
Yeah, Jordan did well there defensively, because he just said to Jack Bridge, you're only going one way, and that was outside. He wasn't going to let him come back. He wasn't interested in trying to have a bite and give Jack Bridge the chance to come back inside. Once he knows he's going out there, he can get the block on the either cross or shot.
Corner for Blues, taken by Bridge, flicked away at the near post, but not clear yet. Scott Morris doesn't quite get the right execution on it. Overhead kick from Cardwell comes in, but the referee has given the free kick the way of the visitors.
Yes, a none too subtle push from Nathan Ralph there. And it was disappointing, because if he hadn't done it, the ball was dropping to an area of body, could have fell to absolutely anybody. Just needed someone to stick a leg out, but Nathan Ralph was given the get out of jail free card.
Ashby Hammond's ball forward is headed away by Nathan Ralph and out for a throw to Aldershot in their own half, which Pendlebury will come and collect the ball for Cordner to take for Aldershot. Yeah, as I was saying, much of Aldershot's possession in the first half was being able to play the ball around at the back, but then Cordner did a couple of times get that ball forward and cause Blues some problems, and there's some problems now for Blues. There's Pendlebury. If he'd have brought that ball down, it would have been dangerous, but instead he finds in the path of Dan Mooney, who then runs into trouble at the other end, and now Class helps it on to Amaluza. Amaluza still going despite a challenge from Cav Miley. Referee plays the advantage on for Class. Now to Pendlebury. Pendlebury with the long range effort, swerving, but is collected by Steve Arnold, who goes down to his right hand side.
Yeah, and on the way across, asked for photographs to be taken of who's going on. It was a lovely one for the goalkeeper going across there. It was really well struck from the lad. It was a nice height for the goalkeeper, as I say. Go full length and then smile for the cameras.
Out at the back for Blues, who lead by a 0-0. Kensdale to his central defensive partner Hobson, who has a look up, plays a diagonal ball, looking for the run of Murphy. It was just ahead of him as he stretched out a leg, looking to control the ball. Ashby Hammond will get there first at the edge of his area for Aldershot.
Sorry, I had to laugh because you said try to pick out Murphy. He was trying to pick out Jack Bridge. Don't worry about that. It slipped off the side of his foot, very nearly put Rhys Murphy in.
Rhys Murphy has the only goal of this game so far, as the ball comes off the head of Tyler Frost at the other end of the pitch and will run away for a Southend United throw, where the Blues fans over on the far side singing and give a round of applause to their players on the pitch, who are leading by a 0-0. Lots of news off of the pitch this week for Blues, with the chairman and owner Ron Martin saying he's exploring the opportunities or the possibilities of selling the football club if the right purchaser comes along. Tyler Cordner has the ball in his own half for Aldershot, onto Corey Jordan. Now Kenlock can play the ball between themselves. Jordan has a look up, long ball forward, looking for the run of Barham down that left hand side. Hobson comes across and gets the header in away for an Aldershot throw. Hobson was booked in the first half for a foul on Barham. Okian was the Aldershot man on a yellow card. He's been substituted for Michael Class, who plays the 1-2 over on that left hand side. The cross comes in for Aldershot towards the back post, where Barham was lurking with Ralph, and then it just comes off of the shin of Jack Bridge and out for an Aldershot throw in line with the penalty area. It's taken short towards Cordner. Cordner is going to get the cross in, low ball in, it's missed to first two defenders, it might come back out for the shot for Pendlebury. The block comes in from Wes Fungook, that will be an Aldershot corner.
Not sure how Tyler Cordner is allowed to turn into a speedy winger and get to the byline and physical ball across the 6-yard box. Nathan Ralph missed completely. Wes Fungook did well to get back and tow that away for the corner.
The referee is coming across to check the ball in the quadrant, I think, for the corner to be taken from the left-hand side, which it is. Steve Arnold doesn't get there, Harry Cardwell does, headed back out to the left-hand side by Michael Class. It's on for Partington, plays the ball back, shot comes in, headed away by Hobson. Still Aldershot have it as Glover looks to get the better of Gus Scott-Morris. He has possession, does the Aldershot winger, and he'll play on for Class. Class out to the left-hand side for Amaluza, going to run at his man. Amaluza taking on Dan Mooney, gets a low ball in, comes off the foot of Hobson, still not clear for Blues yet. Michael Class on the edge of the area, out for Frost, back to Class, tries to backheel, and Reece Murphy is back defending. He plays the ball out of defence. It's initially picked up by Partington, but Cardwell gets it back for Blues, and they have it in defence through Scott Morris. Now Miley just needs to settle things down here to Southend United, who lead by a 1-0. Scott Morris down the right hand side, ball over the top. Reece Murphy won't get there anyway. If he would have, I think the flag would have gone up against him, but Ashby Hammond can roll out to Tyler Cordner to build from the back. Ball through the middle for Pendlebury, on to Amaluza. He's got support down the left hand side, and Hobson gets a foot in and then will hold off his man to turn this defence into attack for Blues. Squares it off for Dan Mooney. He's got Bridge making a run on the left hand side. He'll bring Nathan Ralph into things. Now on to Jack Bridge, left hand side of the penalty area. Bridge will run at Glover, still going is Bridge into the airline, on the byline, pulls it back, no one there for Blues. Partington gets the ball away, picked back up though by Cav Miley for Blues, and they're urged on by the Roots Hall crowd. 1-0 up our Southend United, and on the attack through Hobson, on for Scott Morris. Short pass in to Dan Mooney, back to goal, having to go back to Scott Morris, and now they'll go back on the halfway line to Hobson, and Kensdale has it at the back. He'll go long though, looking out that left hand side. I think it was again for Jack Bridge, but it won't get there, and Ashby Hammond collects in his area.
Yeah, good play on both sides there. Jack Bridge obviously this time did skin the fullback and got to the byline, but Partington was quite cute because he's seen all the bodies at the near post, and he just plonked himself in the area that the forwards will try to go and attack. So when Jack Bridge cut it back, he's already standing there. It was clever defending from him.
Good defending there from Ollie Kensdale to work the ball away from the Aldershot front line, and Blues have it through Mooney onto Miley, back to Kensdale in the centre circle for Blues. Blues head coach Kevin Majors holds his hand up in the air, tells his side to keep calm as Jack Bridge has it down the left hand side. He's bundled over by Glover, and that will be a free kick to Southend United on the left hand side of the penalty area.
Yeah, you can see what Jack's trying to do, and he's obviously very, very good at it. But again, won this free kick in a dangerous area. Wes Fungook is standing in 15 yards of space right next to him. Just having a look at Wes, he's just stretching his hamstring there a little bit, is it? Yeah, it's a nice simple ball, and Jack's just rolled it across, and he hasn't got to beat the defender. He's got a man in space with acres of space in front of him. But it's almost like Jack gets it, I've got to beat a man.
Jack Bridge and Dan Mooney standing over the ball. I think Southend United might be preparing a double substitution as Wes Fungook continues to stretch out that hamstring. There's a two-man wall for Aldershot. Jack Bridge has got his arm in the air, but it will be Dan Mooney to whip the ball in. It's past the first man, it's over the bar from, I think it was Cardwell making his way into the box for Blues. Good opportunity for Southend United.
That was a hell of a ball. It's we've bemoaned the quality of Dan Mooney's set plays pretty much from the start of the season, if he could do that on a regular basis, because that was a wonderful ball, and actually I think it was two blue shirts, Harry Cardwell and probably Rhys Murphy, going in there trying to get on the end of it, just couldn't get a good enough touch. But it was a wicked ball that he's put in there, almost undefendable.
Well, the first change for Southend United sees Wes Fungut coming off and Harry Taylor coming into midfield for Blues. Callum Powell is the man on the touchline for the second substitution, and it will be Rhys Murphy, the goal scorer for Southend United, who's played an hour here at Roots Hall this afternoon. He's got the goal that has put Southend United ahead, and he's going to make way for Callum Powell.
Yeah, and just calling Dan Mooney over to give him a few instructions of how they're going to change this thing, because obviously Rhys Murphy likes to come short, have things into feet and then spin off and go and play with Cardwell. Callum Powell's going to be a different kettle of fish. He's going to be looking for those balls down the channel much more, and so it might leave Dan Mooney a little area to come in, just almost the number 10 role.
Southend United don't clear their lines at the back, and Glover will try to put the cross in, blocked away by Nathan Ralph, out for an Aldershot throw in line with the penalty area. Southend United leading by a goal to nil, 61.5 minutes gone. Glover will take the throw on this right hand side. He's got players in the box. I think Klaas is going to come short for this one, and he's got space to put the cross in. He's going to flick it back to Glover. Glover gets the cross in this time. It's away by Hobson, and Cardwell comes back in though, not cleared properly. Helped onto the edge of the area, onto Amaloza, chipped over the top from Partington, and then Callum Powell does really well to hold off Michael Klaas. It's only temporarily though, as Aldershot come back forward with it. Lovely challenge from Harry Taylor, who gets his feet to the ball ahead of Klaas. Southend clear, only as far though as the Aldershot midfield. On for Jordan, left hand side. Aldershot coming forward. Sliding challenge comes in from Scott Morris. He will clear the ball for Southend United, and then it's an unlucky ricochet, which means it will be an Aldershot throw.
Tell me, people often say, players often say, management often say, when they get defeated, they'll come in after games and say, we've got to learn lessons. Think about Wrexham's goal. Lad goes to take a long throw. Everybody drops into the box and he takes it short, and no one comes out, so they get the cross in. Okay, learn from that. We've got to get men out quicker as well.
Turn on the edge of the area. In comes Aldershot 1-1 from a throw-in. Aldershot go on the attack, and Tyler Frost gets the equaliser for Aldershot. Slots it into the bottom right hand corner, and with 63 minutes gone, it's Southend United 1, Aldershot 1.
Yeah, you can't say they don't deserve it. They broke at pace there, and again Frost has made that run a number of times across there, and this time as he's gone in, the ball's played through him, and as he's got there, he's just towed it under Steve Arnold, gave Steve Arnold no chance whatsoever. And you would probably think they deserve that. They've been in the ascendancy for quite a long period.
They've had their chances, have Aldershot in this game, and they've got their equaliser now through Tyler Frost.
Just going back to that point, Victoria, that whole attack started on this right hand side. They've got to throw, everybody drops off the long, lad throws it short and gets it back, and nobody comes out to come and close the cross down. And from that cross, Blues were scrambling and never really got it away.
So Blues will need to get themselves back in front. That means they need to score more than one goal in a game, as Mooney puts Glover under pressure at the back for Aldershot. Glover gets the ball away, and as far as Nathan Ralph though, picks up for Blues, on for Mooney into the area, on for Powell. Now Cardwell and Mooney get there, and the side shot comes into the side netting from Mooney, didn't get proper connection on it. Blues looking for an immediate comeback in this game, but it is a goal kick to Aldershot.
Yeah,
1-1.
unfortunately it wouldn't just fall for someone to get the shot. I think Dan Mooney might have taken a little knock there, but it was good closing down from all round, because lad had loads of time. He's looking at the goalkeeper, and he could have gone back to him. Who was it? Glover, looking at the goalkeeper. He could have rolled it back to him and took an extra touch. And by the time he finally made his mind up to go back to the goalkeeper, Callum Powell's finally got across and killed that opportunity off for him. And then they were really under pressure, and it just wouldn't fall for someone in a blue shirt to get a clean shot.
Kensdale clears the ball at the back for Blues. Partington gets the head on, and then Kensdale looked to head clear once more. It comes off the back of his head. Arnold will come and cover for his defender in front of those Aldershot fans, 420 of them, who've in their side, get an equaliser in the 63rd minute through Tyler Frost. Ball up field for Blues, on for Powell to Jack Bridge. Callum Powell is still in support for the Southend United winger. He gets the ball caught under his feet, does Callum Powell, but he will get the cross in, nodded away by the first man, picked up by Mooney. Mooney with the shot just over the bar, edge of the area, had a bit of swerve on it, but it won't beat Luca Ashby-Hammond behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, but nice to see, wouldn't it? It came across him at the edge of the box on his right foot, and his first touch took it back onto the left foot. Probably knows someone's going to be sliding in and making the challenge, but still managed to get the shot away from 18-20 yards, and wasn't that far off target. It's just nice
Closer
to see
than
some.
the first half.
Yeah, absolutely is. But it's just nice to see someone just go, well, I'll have a shot from this distance. If they want to back off, if I've got 5 yards of space, I'll get a shot.
Kensdale heads away from the goal kick, picked it back up by Mooney, but he just can't bring the ball down in play. It's out for an Aldershot throw on this near side. Elsewhere, Wrexham, the leaders, are still goalless in their game. Notts County drawing 1-1 in second in the National League as the ball drops in midfield for Michael Class. Lays it off for Kenlock. Kenlock up to the left hand side, back to Class, the half-time substitute. Getting lots of the ball as Tyler Frost plays a 1-2. The goal scorer has another shot over Steve Arnold's bar, behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he got a little bit fortunate, tried to play a little ball round the corner, and it hit Harry Taylor on the back of his leg, I think, and came back to him, and then went for power rather than accuracy, and fortunately never got it on target.
I think Steve Arnold might be struggling to get the ball back from the Aldershot crowd. Scores elsewhere, still Eastleigh 2, Altrincham 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1-0 up against Oldham as Blues play the ball out from the back. Kensdale has it at his feet. FC Halifax Town 1, Yeovil 0. Gateshead leading Torquay by goal to 0 in a big game at the bottom, and the ball is run out of play by Blues in their own. Oh no, it came off an Aldershot player. But Nathan Ralph has the ball for the throw in Blues' own half. Maidenhead leading Maidstone by 2 goals to 0. Scunthorpe 3-0 up against Wealdstone. Solihull Moors 2, Borehamwood 0, who beat Southend United by a goal to 0 on Tuesday, as Nathan Ralph is fouled in the Aldershot half and wins a free kick for Blues.
It's just quick feet, shifted it from left foot to right foot and back again. Pendlebury just had a little sniff at him and brought him down.
3 points this afternoon would be handy for Southend United, with Borehamwood losing in those playoff places as the free kick is taken short to Bridge and just runs out of options towards the edge of the area. Put back over the top by Ollie Kensdale, headed away by Partington, and then Barham's ball over the top is allowed to bounce by Kensdale, and he tries to play that one back to Arnold. Arnold fouls his man Amaloza, and that is a penalty. Kensdale didn't control the ball, he was a bit casual, he forced Arnold into the tackle, he's brought Amaloza down as he was through on goal, and the referee will want a word with Steve Arnold, but it will be a penalty to Aldershot.
Yeah, it'll be a penalty and should be a yellow card as well. As you say, just sloppy from Ollie Kensdale. Wasn't helped by the fact the ball went over his head and then hit the ground and just sat up, so it had no pace on it whatsoever, and just couldn't get it back. And Steve Arnold was absolutely committed, and yeah, absolutely right, I think, the referee.
So for the second game in a row, Southend United concede a penalty.
But yeah, I think they're wondering whether it should have been a red card. No, because he's not in complete control of the ball. It's not a clear goal scoring opportunity because he hasn't even got the ball yet. You know, so it's just a 50-50 challenge. Had he got the ball, if he got the first touch, took it on his chest towards the goal, and Steve Arnold does that, then it's a sending off.
The Aldershot captain, Joe Partington, who will take this penalty for Aldershot in front of the away fans to our right hand side. Steve Arnold making himself big in the Southend United goal, having conceded the penalty. Partington steps up, right-footed, scores in the 70th minute in the top corner right-hand side of Steve Arnold's goal. Aldershot have come from behind, And it's Southend United 1, Aldershot 2.
Yeah, you weren't stopping that, was you? I mean, unless you'd be fortunate to just jump 5 yards to your left and stick your arms up in the air. He absolutely hammered it and gave Steve Arnold very, very little chance. And it's disappointing for Blues because it's just that little bit of sloppiness where players get comfortable and they just, I've got all the time in the world, and it'll just come and catch you out every now and again.
And that's going to be a substitution immediately after that Aldershot second goal. Jake Hutchinson, the Colchester United loanee, is going to come on for the visitors, and Jack Barham is the man to make way.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a, certainly in that first 30-40 minutes, he was a little handful, a little bit of a live wire for Aldershot. A couple of half chances for him that he created for himself. Had one really good one which would have been a header from about 7 yards out, which he missed the contact on. The other one that we went through and the ball sat up for him, but he'll probably be quite pleased with his afternoon's work, apart from the fact that he didn't score.
And as Southend United go 2-1 down, Colchester United go 2-0 down at Brisbane Road. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 0 over on 103.5 FM. Blues with 18.5 minutes left of this one, trailing by 2-1, having gone a goal up inside the first 16 here. Dan Mooney with the ball at his feet for Blues. He's going to spread play out to this left-hand side for Nathan Ralph. Nathan Ralph with a bit of pace. Now on for Bridge. Bridge looking to take on Glover. He'll lay it off for Miley. Ralph still on that left-hand side in support, back for Miley. Now Bridge in some space. He's got two defenders coming across around him, but Bridge gets the cross in. It's headed away by Cordner for Aldershot and upfield for Hutchinson. Hobson gets in front and helps it on to Scott Morris. Southend United in possession on the halfway line through Dan Mooney. Has a look up, looking at this left hand side again. He'll go back to Kensdale. Now on for Nathan Ralph. Cav Miley falls over as he passes the ball to Harry Taylor. Taylor controls well, and Scott Morris comes along the halfway line to roll it towards Dan Mooney. He can run at his man, Dan Mooney. Finds Cardwell on the edge of the area, back to goal. Lays it off to Taylor. Wide on the right hand side for Scott Morris. Still has Taylor in support. Along for Cardwell on the right hand side of the area. He's trying to get the cross away. It's blocked, but it will find Scott Morris on the byline. Tries to get the cross in, and this time it will go out for a Southend United corner.
Yeah, it's little details. Dan Mooney played a ball into Harry Cardwell and run round the defender to get the return ball. But the ball he played to Harry Cardwell, he's played the wrong side of Harry and made him turn away from the area that he wants to get the ball back in.
Mooney with the corner, flicked on by Ralph, not cleared yet. Taylor comes in with his shot, and that comes off the outside of his boot and swerves away for a goal kick.
Yeah, but at least he went onto it and tried to hit it, and probably just got distracted by two Aldershot defenders absolutely throwing themselves in front of the ball, so it probably just took his eye off it. But at least he was prepared to run onto it and try to get the shot on target, or on goal rather.
He had a similar opportunity towards the end of Tuesday's night's game at Boreham Wood, and he's more of a defensive midfielder is Harry Taylor. He's had a couple of...
Are you saying that's why?
Well, he's had a couple of opportunities fall to him in the last couple of games now for Blues, who need another goal if they're to get back in this one. Trailing by 2-1 at Roots Hall. Ball comes off of a Southend United man for an Aldershot throw. And Glover will take his time over this one. We've got 15.5 minutes left. It's a long throw from Glover, is in towards the penalty area, over the head of Hutchinson and through to Steve Arnold, who conceded that penalty. He's on a yellow card, is the Southend United goalkeeper. Nathan Ralph almost runs into trouble. He does run into Pendlebury, and it goes down. Free kick for Southend United on the halfway line.
Yeah, it looked like Pendlebury was thinking about sliding in for the challenge, then realised he wasn't going to get there and tried to pull out of it, but by that stage he sort of committed and ended up running into Nathan Ralph.
Southend United have taken the free kick short. It's over on the right with Scott Morris. We'll go back to Hobson. Solihull Moors and Daggers both leading. So as things stand in the live table, Southend United drop to 11th, 8 points off the playoff. Ball over the top from Ralph is going to be kept in by Callum Powell. It looked to be a big ask of Powell, but he has kept it in, and Bridge will get the cross in towards Cardwell at the back post. It's up in the air and collected by Ashby Hammond.
Yeah, Cardwell coming in and really fighting with the defender. As you say, it couldn't see who. Looked like they've both gone over. It's come off the back of somebody and sat up for the goalkeeper to get an easy catch in the end. Wouldn't have been surprised if he got something on it there, Cardwell, that the referee would have blown for the free kick.
Ashby Hammond's drop kick is going to come straight through to Steve Arnold at the other end. He'll roll it out to Kensdale and then Hobson. Scott Morris has a look up, rolls the ball a couple of times under his feet, and then goes back to his defenders. On to Ralph on the halfway line. Has a look up, cuts inside, goes back to Kensdale. Southend United 1, Aldershot 2. Hobson's ball out on the right hand side for Scott Morris, turns it inside for Dan Mooney, middle of the Aldershot half. Off for Cav Miley, just is run off the ball by Hutchinson and Pendlebury. And now Class will go back to his defence, and the long ball forward should be collected by Arnold, who's out of his area with the ball at his feet. And plays it to Hobson. Sorry, Victoria, if Blues are going to do that, but we've asked them to go and play in that little area, just sort of level with the D as the ball gets knocked over the top. Callum Powell picks up left hand side of the penalty area, up against Cordner. He's got Bridge in support. Callum Powell still holding off Pendlebury this time, gets the ball into the box. Harry Cardwell comes across, he's caught his man in the Aldershot penalty area, and that'll be a free kick to the visitors. Yeah, so if you draw sort of a rectangle from the D out about, I don't know, 15, 20 yards, and you want to play in there, you've got to play 1 and 2 touch, and it's got to be fast. Too often when Blues are getting in there, they're playing it into the first man, as they did Cav Miley that last one. They play it in, that man has a touch, then wants to turn, then wants another touch, and it all gets closed down. You've got to zip it about in there, commit defenders, and then get runners going in behind, and just help little balls round the corner and have runners going off it, so the ball goes into a man, he's got options of players running off of him. Free kick taken for Aldershot, headed away by Scott Morris. Partington, who scored that penalty for Aldershot, heads it back out of defence for Southend United, and then Harry Cardwell does well. Ball over the top for Southend United. Callum Powell will chase up against Glover. All Glover can do is put that one out for a Southend United throw in line with the penalty area, which Jack Bridge will take quickly into Callum Powell. Back onto Bridge. Bridge gets the cross in. No one in there for Southend United. Harry Cardwell was around, but not where the ball was put. Kensdale looking for Dan Mooney, but Kenlock comes in front of his man and wins the ball back for Aldershot. Over the top, should be dealt with by the Southend United defence as Hobson plays it back to Arnold, who hits it long over the head of Cardwell, but Callum Powell was awaiting the second ball. Aldershot get it back through Glover. He goes back to Ashby Hammond, and this time it's a big old kick out of the back from Ashby Hammond, which hangs in the air for a long time. Hobson watches it on, heads on, and Callum Powell has it at his feet, turning at the edge of the area. Callum Powell breaking into the box, still going. Powell slides it in. Harry Cardwell was making his way in, but Ashby Hammond collects for Aldershot. And that's encouragement for Blues, because as that ball went to Callum Powell, Tyler Cordner wanted absolutely nothing to do with it and just backed off and thought, well, I don't want to get tight, because if this fella spins me, I can't stay with him. And so he backed up right away, and then that allowed Callum then to face him up, and now he's running at people at the box. It's now Scunthorpe United 4, Wealdstone 1. Bournemouth and Wealdstone both trailing, sit above Southend United in the table. It's a challenge from behind from Nathan Ralph. He concedes the throw-in, but nothing more, despite the protest of the Aldershot bench in front of us. 10 minutes to go. Southend United 1, Aldershot 2. Aldershot have a throw in the Southend United half down this near side, which Glover will throw long into the right-hand channel, looking for Amaloza, and he is adjudged to have fouled Nathan Ralph at the back, and he's kicked the ball away. I think the referee Scott Simpson will come across and give the Aldershot winger a yellow card for that one. He won the penalty, did Amaloza. He's conceded the foul at the back there, and Southend United take the free kick short.
And I don't think it'll be long for this world, or this game rather. I think they'll look at that and think he's got petulance, got himself cautioned, so he might make way in a moment. But I can kind of see his point as well, because Nathan Ralph had a big handful of him first, and he tried to spin round, and Amaloza in the end was just stronger, and it looked more obvious when he did it.
Southend United on the attack through Ralph. Bridge on the left-hand side in support, but Ralph is going to go it alone against two defenders. He's just overrun that, and the Aldershot defender gets across, clears the ball upfield. Only as far there as Kensdale on the halfway line. Onto Bridge. Bridge on the left-hand side. Ralph has stayed in an advanced position, but Bridge is running out of options. He's bundled over by Pendlebury. I think he stood on Jack Bridges' hand as well as he went down. That will be a free kick to Southend United.
Yeah, it's frustration and impatience from Pendlebury. Just couldn't wait to have a bite. Good ball.
Ball onto the edge of the area for Nathan Ralph. Heavy touch takes it away from him though. It was a quick free kick from Southend United, which I don't think the head coach Kevin Mayer wanted them to do. It almost paid off though. They had a throw on this near side which has been taken quickly, and Harry Taylor has it in the middle of the park for Southend United. Back to Hobson. Southend United continuing to build. 8.5 minutes of the 90 to go. Southend United 1, Aldershot 2. Aldershot preparing another change as Ralph helps it on towards Jack Bridge, and then Glover wins it back. Amaloza turning in his own half, skips out of a challenge from Cav Miley. He's racing forward. He's got out space on the left-hand side for Jake Hutchinson, who just lets the ball run in front of him too far. Harry Taylor gets a foot in. Aldershot still have it though through Class, who plays it over the top, looking for the Colchester United loanee Hutchinson. Back to Class, square ball towards Amaloza. He's being tracked by Ollie Kensdale, and he'll have to go backwards here. Kenlock in the Aldershot defence to Jordan. Jordan with a long ball over the top, looking for the run of Ryan Glover. It comes off of the head of Jack Bridge. He wasn't sure where it ended up. He looks to get the cross in, does Glover. Comes off a Bridge. That will be an Aldershot corner.
He did well in the end there, Jack Bridge, because it looked like that big switch had got Glover in, and Jack got sucked underneath initially. Glover went up for it, and then he got the lucky break, but Jack Bridge recovered really well to get back and slide the sliding challenge to knock it out for this corner. Going to be substitution for Aldershot. Substitution
for the visitors. Josh McCoyd will be the man to come on, and it will be, as Paul Clark predicted, Justin Amaloza, who will make way with 7 minutes of the 90 left to play. Josh McCoyd has got 5 caps for Northern Ireland, 350 EFL appearances under his belt as well, coming on for the final stages of this one for the visitors.
Well, he looked like he'd just come to life, didn't he, Amaloza? And whether he'd just got angry or frustrated just before he got taken off.
Pendlebury with the corner. It's away by Taylor, not out of the area yet though for Blues, as Miley is fouled, and that will be a free kick to Southend United in their own penalty area. And they need to get this ball moving and try and create something in the final 6 minutes, trailing by 2-1. They've lost their last 4, have Blues. They don't want to make it 5, as Steve Arnold hits the free kick towards the head of Harry Cardwell. He nods on. Cleared away by Cordner. Helped upfield. Lovely play between Hutchinson and McCoyd at the top for Aldershot. Goes back to Glover. Glover has a look up. Plays it on to Partington. Now Pendlebury out on the right-hand side. Over the top for Hutchinson. First touch just takes it away from him, which is a relief for the Southend United defence, who can clear through Scott Morris with a long ball forward, headed away by the Aldershot defence, back by Scott Morris, picked up by Mooney, and then Taylor is fouled as he tries to burst forward. and it will be a free kick to Blues.
Yeah, it was good interplay from Aldershot in that last instance, and it's just Hutchinson's touch let them down. And then, as you say, it was a long ball forward from Gus Scott-Morris, but it was to a red shirt again.
Ralph sliding it through, looking for Powell, but the Aldershot players get in the way and win the ball back, but it's cleared upfield, which Hobson chases and gets back for Blues. Kensdale onto Ralph for Bridge to run at his man down the left hand side, cuts inside once, rolls the ball back. He's got Powell in the area. Callum Powell with the ball at his feet, takes it towards the back, lays it off, looking for Mooney. He's crowded out. Aldershot clear the ball from the edge of their area, but only as far as Kensdale in the midway point of the Aldershot half. On for Gus Scott-Morris. He's got Mooney making a run down the right-hand side, and it's run straight out of play, and we're going to see the introduction of Chris Ray for Southend United. Yeah,
it was a good shooting opportunity for Dan Mooney, but he swung at it and missed it completely. It's Dan Mooney that's made way for him, I think, on that far side. He had a similar one at Wrexham, was it, where he went for the shot and didn't make any contact. And when I looked at it on the video, I kind of gave him the benefit of that, because it looked like there was someone coming behind him.
Cav Miley was in his way.
It was Cav Miley, yeah, and it kind of just distracted him and just took his mind off it, or his eye off it. But there you think, well, just put your laces through it, son, you know, and if someone comes and gets in the way and you end up kicking them, well, tough luck on them.
Aldershot poke the ball upfield. Steve Arnold out of his area, hits it back towards Ollie Kensdale. 3.5 minutes of the 90 to go. Hobson to Kensdale. Southend United 1, Aldershot 2 on BBC Essex. Ball up towards the substitute Chris Ray, holding it up with 3 Aldershot players around him. He'll have to go back to Kensdale, but Blues keep possession on the halfway line through Hobson. Gus Scott-Morris inside for Harry Taylor, looking for Callum Powell, who's over on that right-hand side. Kenlock initially gets the foot in, only as far though as Gus Scott-Morris, who plays it back, and then that pass from Hobson is ahead of Cav Miley, and Aldershot can have it back through Hutchinson. Turns on the halfway line for Glover with a long ball forward, looking for the run of Pendlebury, just gives Hobson a shove in the back. Referee has seen it. Free kick to Blues, which has been taken quickly. Helped on towards Harry Taylor. Back to Scott-Morris. Powell now helping out on that right-hand side. Scott-Morris into Cav Miley. Miley has a look and will find Nathan Ralph on this left-hand side to Jack Bridge. Ralph is on the overlap. Bridge is going to cut inside. Plays it square for Harry Taylor. He's under pressure and he'll go back to Hobson. Shouts from the Southend United fans, whose side are losing by 2-0. Early ball into the box from Scott-Morris, brought down by McCoyd, and it's being cleared by Aldershot on the edge of their area, but it's won back by Southend United. Harry Taylor on for Callum Powell, right hand side of the box. Gus Scott-Morris with a high ball into the area. It's headed out of play for a corner by Glover, who had Jack Bridge hot on his heels.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest cross in the world, because gave nobody between the sticks a chance to get on with it, and the defender didn't know what was around him, so took no chances and gifted this corner to Blues.
Jack Bridge with the corner from the left hand side. Some fans making their way out of the ground, but there is still 90 seconds to go as the corner comes in towards the back post. It'll be collected by Ashby Hammond, who goes to ground with the ball, and it's frustration for the Southend United head coach Kevin Mayer, whose side are unable to find an equaliser as things stand.
Well, 2 parts of the frustration. One, the ball is stood up much too high and hanging in the air, but 2, how's the goalkeeper allowed to catch it unchallenged? Steve Arnold's not allowed to catch balls in the air unchallenged, is he?
Nathan Ralph heads up in the air from defence, then he helps it on at the second attempt to Jack Bridge, who's back in his own half. Kensdale to Gus Scott-Morris. Blues enjoying possession, but they are trailing by 2-1. We've got 30 seconds till the commencement of the additional time. Kensdale to Ralph. Ralph has a look up. It's down the left-hand channel for Bridge, who just gets stuck in front of Glover, who picks the ball up cleanly. On for McCoy. McCoy can run at Kensdale and Hobson. He's only got Hutchinson in support. He's crowded out by the Southend United defence. And then Bridge, under pressure from Glover, fouled in his own half. Free kick to Blues. Taken short and back to Ralph. We are about to see that we have 5 minutes of additional time. 5 more minutes for Southend United to try and find an equaliser. Scott Morris with an early ball into the box. Ken Lock hasn't cleared that properly. Cardwell can pick it up on the byline. Back to Scott Morris. Cross comes in. It will fall to Miley on the edge of the box. Brings it down onto Ralph. Out to Bridge. Bridge is again being bundled over by Glover, and he's conceded the free kick on the left-hand side of the penalty area, and the referee, Scott Simpson, may well have a word with Brian Glover about that.
Yeah, and it's brainless defending from him, because he's got him facing his own halfway line. And you just don't have to try and win it, especially with someone like Jack Bridge. He's going to keep it really tight to him. Just say, go on then, you've got it. Just keep going back towards your own half. But instead, it's a great chance for Jack Bridge to recreate what Dan Mooney did earlier, put it into that real dangerous area.
Set piece for Southend United. In from Bridge then, looking for the head of a Southend United player. Hooked away to the edge of the area. No one there for Southend United. And now they can counter. McCoy, sliding challenge comes in from Miley, which will allow Harry Taylor to get back for Southend. He clears it out for an Aldershot throw. That's not the way that Southend United would have wanted that free kick to go.
No, and they were fortunate when the lad tried to play the through ball. He didn't quite get it, didn't quite sit for him, so didn't strike it properly. Allowed Harry Taylor to come back and make the clearance.
Headed away by Sean Hobson.
It's a foul.
And there is a nudge in the back. And it will be a free kick to Aldershot on the edge of the area as Colchester United pull one back at Leyton Orient. Through Connor Hall. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 1. So they have scored in that game, Colchester United, and they're not going to get the 3 points as it stands, nor a Southend United here at Roots Hall.
Pretty interesting to see Aldershot's ambition here. Would one of them get onto it and just go, well, you know what, I might as well have a go at goal, and if I lash it over the bar and lash it over the north bank, it doesn't matter, or do we want to just go straight into the corner?
The free kick is going to come with a long-range effort, which takes Steve Arnold by surprise, and he has to parry it into his area, helped away by the Southend United defence. And then Bridge will keep the ball in play on this near side. Back to Ralph, over the top from the Southend United captain, headed down by Cardwell. Ray can't latch on for Blues. Kensdale will play it back to Arnold for Southend United, who are trailing by 1-0.
Then off strike, that shot well, and it came back a long way off Steve Arnold, and thankfully there's nobody in a red shirt following in, so it came back almost to the edge of the box.
Nathan Ralph trying to clear at the back. It's allowed to bounce by Ollie Kensdale. Mistake, and McCoy will break into the area. Great challenge by Sean Hobson to come across, and he's covered for Ollie Kensdale there, who made the mistake. And now Southend United can attack. Taylor on to Scott Morris for Callum Powell on the right hand side. Will he get the cross in? It's blocked away by Frost. It will be a throw into Southend United in line with the Aldershot penalty area.
If Blues manage to get a point out of this, every one of them wants to buy Sean Hobson a drink there, because the lad was through. Sloppy again from Ollie Kensdale, just too casual, and Sean Hobson did remarkably well to get across and get that clearance.
90 seconds to go. Scott Morris with the throw into the area, way by Partington. Back to Scott Morris. Away to Harry Taylor. Back to Scott Morris, who puts the cross in. It's missed by Ashby Hammond, but it bounces away from Jack Bridge. Callum Powell picks it back up. Bridge out on the left-hand side. Back to Ralph. Ralph with the high ball into the area this time. Headed away. It will fall for Scott Morris. Scott Morris with the shot. Parried away by Ashby Hammond. Cleared on upfield by Kenlock. Was that the last opportunity for Southend into the last minute? Kensdale with the long ball forward. Away by the Aldershot man. And now Hutchinson can set McCoy on his way. Halfway line, Hutchinson. The counter is being slowed up. Class in the centre circle. Puts the ball over to the left-hand side. That bounces up on the edge of the area for Aldershot. Frost will take it to the corner flag with 30 seconds of this one's left. Colchester have equalised at Brisbane Road. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester 2, Noah Chilvers. Southend United haven't been able to find an equaliser here. Aldershot still have it over in that far corner. Just keeping possession, winding down the clock as the full-time whistle goes. Southend United lose for a 5th straight game, having got themselves in front in the first half through Reece Murphy, conceding goals from Tyler Frost and then a penalty from the captain Joe Partington. And Aldershot do the double over Southend United this season as Blues' hopes of a playoff place look further and further away. They've been beaten at home by 2-1. Paul Clark, what did you make of that?
Yeah, it's so disappointing because, all right, the first half they didn't play particularly well. There wasn't a lot in it, but Aldershot had the greater number of chances, although Southend had the best chance, and they buried it and got themselves possibly unjustly in front, but they were winning at half time. Second half, I can't remember them troubling the keeper, and it was just a little ponderous at times, and far too often balls are played into midfield players and their first thought is to go square or go back again. You'd like to see them be a little bit more positive where they receive the ball on the half turn and look to play into people, and you've only got to think of the number of chances in that second half where you think, oh, here we go. It's took right till the end until Gus Scott Morris has come in onto that one to see someone go, right, here we go, we'll get a shot on goal. Everything else was all nearly, and they can point at recent games and say, oh, we was a bit unlucky, we played well, and the odd goal went against us. I don't think they can say that today. I don't think they've played particularly well today. And credit to Aldershot, because they were, as I say, I think they were probably the better side overall.
8 points off the playoffs as things stand for Southend United. It's finished 2-1 here against Aldershot. If you want to get in touch with the programme, we're on air until 6 o'clock. You can text Essex 81333. Starting message was Essex 08000 321 333. Also starting with Essex if you want to WhatsApp at BBC Essex Sport on Twitter. And that pressure just keeps mounting on Southend United. The head coach Kevin Mayer will tell us that they only have to be there at the end of the season in those playoff places, but the more games you lose, the more pressure you're putting on yourselves to the final stages. Yeah,
very much so. And like I say, when you come off a run of difficult games like they've had, yes, they've got beaten, but they will have taken confidence, albeit not a great deal, but they were taking some confidence from the way they talk up, the manner of the performance. And then you come to a game like today and you think, okay, this is now where we can get back to the winning ways. And as we said, the important thing today, or the most important thing, was to get the victory. They didn't get the victory, but they haven't even got the consolation of being able to turn around and say, well, we played well, but we was unlucky at this. I think Aldershot deserved the victory, if I'm brutally honest.
Reaction to come in the final hour of BBC Essex Sports. 81333. Start with Essex to text 08000 321 333. Also starting with Essex if you would like to WhatsApp. It's finished here at Roots Hall. A 5th straight defeat for Southend United. Southend United 1, Aldershot Town 2.
Against Leyton Orient, and you can rewrite your texts and your emails and your WhatsApp messages. Or at least you can if the youth can now see it out and make sure that they get something out of this game. The ball's inside their half, but battling away is Matt J, lifting her forward. Akinde to Sears. Sears out to Chamadou. Chamadou's in a little bit of space. Colchester United load the penalty area. We're in stoppage time of stoppage time. Chamadou crosses right-footed. Help goalwards! Saved by the goalkeeper. Freddie Sears at full stretch, diverted it goalwards, and what a finish! I've never seen anything quite as dramatic as that. A side written off 2-0, and Glenn laughs because maybe I was one of them. A side written off against top of the table Leyton Orient. 2-0 down against a team with the best defensive record in the division. A side who hadn't scored in over 9.5 hours, then scored twice in 3 minutes. Deep late into the game. Connor Hall from a corner kick flicked goalwards and in. Chilvers smashed one just wide of the target 2 minutes into 3 of stoppage time, and then Chilvers, make no mistake, with another effort, and even then David Gregory, Connor Hall having started the fight back, has to head one off the line. Otherwise, the comeback would have amounted to nothing. As it is, David, 2-2.
Yeah, amazing finish to the game. Like I say, Connor Hall at the end. But even after that, in that very, very last attack, I think Matt Jay gets that final touch onto it, and all that. I think he's so stretching. They just managed to get a toe on it, and there wasn't loads and loads of pace on it by the time it gets to him. So it isn't enough to go past Figueroa's right hand. I mean, that could have been an extraordinary story at that end of the pitch in the 6th minute of injury time. But 3-2, would have been even better. But 2-2, a great comeback, and like you say, it just, scoring those 2 goals, and it makes it a fantastic finish, and well worth all the fans for Colchester United that did stay till the end.
Better get my apology on air right now to you, because how often do you constantly say it ain't over until it's over? Any player who believes that the game's gone, then that's the wrong attitude. They just needed a lifeline. They got the lifeline, scored the equaliser, nearly got a third, nearly conceded. But you've always said this, you've just got to carry on playing until it's impossible to get anything out of the game.
Absolutely, but that's them, Mel. We can say what we like up here because that's what you feel, and a lot of the time it does happen that, who would have thought that, we're playing the top of the table side who've got a great record, as you say, defensively. The chances of us scoring 2 in the last few minutes were minimal, but if the players stop believing it, they're definitely not going to score. So, great character and belief from the players out there to feel that they could get back in the game.
And fantastic scenes over there, David Gregory. The youth players in no hurry to leave the pitch. Some of those Colchester United fans who left it at 2-0 down, and in some ways you can't blame them. Well, they've missed an extraordinary end to this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't blame them. I can. I think you should stay to the end. But that's just one of those things that they'll be disappointed that they've missed this. You're right.
Dave, I've got to say, it's Mothering Sunday tomorrow. I know that your wife Janie's here, but you brought your mother along, and she's probably going to say, is it as exciting like that every week as it was this week? Because my word, she'd have enjoyed that, Mrs. Gregory.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the two of them now, they went to Gillingham away on Boxing Day and this one, so they've had 2 good away days, so, it's good. They'd have enjoyed it out there, and yeah, Mum does love coming to the football.
She does, and rightly so. Who wouldn't? After an extraordinary finish, it's only the youth players out there on the pitch now. The home fans have gone home already. Those youth fans still enjoying a most dramatic of dramatic turnarounds, because when Satiriou doubled the lead with a quarter of the game to go, I took over from Glenn Speller in the commentary. I thought, this is the dead man shift, isn't it? This game's over. And I never thought that Colchester now were going to even score. After all, it'd been 9.5 hours since they'd got a goal. They got a corner kick in the 89th minute. Connor Hall got away from his man, flicked it on, difficult skill, perfect, beat Figueroa. 3 minutes later, Chilvers smashed one with real quality just wide of the target, but Noah Chilvers was not to be denied. Cutting in from the right hand side, slipped a couple of challenges and then just lifted it over Figueroa into the far corner of the net. The celebrations amongst the youth coaching staff and the fans opposite had to be seen to be believed, but even then Connor Hall at the other end had to clear a header off the line. I don't know how he managed doing it, I really don't. That was the drama, and at the end Colchester United got something out of this game. They've scored a couple of goals and they've done it against table-topping Leyton Orient. It's finished at Brisbane Road and the youths have enjoyed their visits to the East End again. It's finished Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 2. Who'd have thought that?
BBC Essex Sport.
A very good evening to you from Glenn Speller live at Brisbane Road. 57 minutes of results, reports and reaction on the way. First of all, reacting to an amazing comeback for Colchester United here against the League 2 leaders Leyton Orient. They've only been beaten on one occasion in 17 home matches this season, and they're unbeaten in their last 12 here as well. Well, Colchester didn't get all 3 points. They did get one, and spot the man who never ever learns.
Chested down, that might be a mistake by Kelleher. Smart takes advantage of it, tumbles over, referee says penalty. A mistake by Kelleher, who was desperate to get back. There wasn't a lot of physical pressure on Smythe. He felt the contact, he went down. Controversial decision by Ross Joyce, but it's a penalty to Leyton Orient. The penalty will be taken by George Moncur up against O'Hara, and he scores. He sends O'Hara the wrong way, and George Moncur, the former Colchester United midfielder, has put Leyton Orient in front, and the U's will have to come from behind if they're going to get anything out of this game, because it's Leyton Orient 1, Colchester United 0.
And lovely work over on the far flank by Shamadou. Breaks the lines here. He's going to slip it down the right hand side for Newby. He's got Tavide at the back post. Oh, and he can't pick him out. And it's a weak pass anyway, and it wasn't going to reach Tavide, and it didn't have the direction, and the opportunity goes. Defending by Chambers, but he then blocks his copybook by giving the ball away, and Orient feed off it and come down this near side, and Mike will look to put the ball in the box. James slides it into the edge of the area. Oh, and trying to slip beyond his man is Soteriou under O'Hara. It's game over. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 0.
Corner kick flicked on the near post, and the U's have scored. It's gone in, it's Connor Hall with the goal, and that drought, that famine has come to an end. 9.5 hours, but will it be nothing more than a consolation goal? Well worked corner kick. Connor Hall broke away from his man, flicked it on the near post. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 1. Here's Chilvers again as an Orient player on the ground. Sears wants it through the middle. Chilvers carries on with his run, left-footed, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant from Noah Chilvers, and look at the celebration involving Ben Garmer, who punches in the air along with his coaching staff, because Noah Chilvers is back, and so are Colchester United. What a brace, what a response, just when so many people had written him off. They're back on level terms against top of the table Leyton Orient, and what a goal by Noah Chilvers. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 2.
And there was still time for Connor Hall to head the ball off the line for Colchester, and Matt Jay comes so close to a last gasp, last second winner, stretching every sinew, towed the ball towards goal, couldn't get the power on it. Vigouroux made the save. Hughes fans, what do you make of that? I'd given up on them. Neil had given up on them. David Gregory says you never give up until the final whistle goes. The Hughes, how important could that point be? Love to hear from you between now and 6 o'clock. As for Southend United, it's now 5 defeats in a row for the Blues. It's all gone flat at Roots Hall.
Nodded away by the defence, and then slipped through from Mooney to Murphy. Murphy scores! And in the opening 16 minutes here at Roots Hall, Southend United go 1-0 up. Lovely ball through from Dan Mooney to set Reece Murphy on his way. He gets his first goal of the season. It's Southend United 1, Aldershot 0. He's going to go on a run, is the Aldershot centre-back, and he slipped it through for Barham. Barham should score, and he hasn't. He has missed the target. He just looped wide of the right-hand post. Turn on the edge of the area. In comes Aldershot 1-1. From a throw-in, Aldershot go on the attack, and Tyler Frost gets the equaliser for Aldershot. Slots it into the bottom right-hand corner, and with 63 minutes gone, it's Southend United 1, Aldershot 1. Barham's ball over the top is allowed to bounce by Kensdale, and he tried to play that one back to Arnold. Arnold fouls his man Amaloza, and that is a penalty. Kensdale didn't control the ball, he was a bit casual. He forced Arnold into the tackle. He's brought Amaloza down as he was through on goal, and the referee will want a word with Steve Arnold, but it will be a penalty to Aldershot. Hartington steps up right-footed, scores in the 70th minute in the top corner right-hand side of Steve Arnold's goal. Aldershot have come from behind, and it's Southend United 1, Aldershot 2.
Blues fans, is that the playoffs done now? You have to start planning for next season. Need to get this flipping embargo lifted, don't they, so they can bring players in. They need reinforcements. In the Premier League, goals galore. Match of the day should be good tonight. I mean, there'll be presenters, commentators and goals. Everything you could possibly want. Wins tonight for Aston Villa. Also for Leeds, who win at Wolves. Amazing comeback by Southampton as they draw 3-3 with Tottenham today. Finishes all square between Brentford and Leicester. Ipswich get a much needed win in League One to keep the heat on the top two. Chelmsford City come from behind twice in the National South to beat Worthing, but Braintree's 12-match unbeaten run is over. In the Six Nations Rugby, wins today for Scotland and for France. It's over to Ireland to see if they can complete the Grand Slam with a win over England. We've got a lot to fit in between now and 6.
Call 0800 111 40 41. Text 81333 and start your message with the word Essex. BBC Essex Sport.
Evening to you. It's going to be a slightly truncated final hour because of the overtime that we've had here and the amazing comeback by Colchester United, which ran all the way to the 6th minute of injury time, and so much happened in that injury time as well. A Hughes equaliser, a clearance off the line by the man who got the first goal, Connor Hall, and Matt Jay almost winning it for the Hughes at the death. It's going to be a vital point. We'll talk to Paul Clark at Roots Hall in the next couple of moments here on BBC Essex. Your thoughts are beginning to tumble in. 81333 to text us. Start your message with the word Essex. You can tweet at BBC Essex Sport. Start your WhatsApps with 08000 321 333, starting it with Essex, at BBC Essex Sport on Twitter. And you can give us a ring, 0800 111 40 41. Love to hear from you between now and 6 o'clock here on BBC Essex Sport. Let's run you through tonight's full times because we are getting to the business end of the season, aren't we? In the Premier League, Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 0. Louise, Ramsey and Buendia with the goals for Villa. Bournemouth 1 week beating Liverpool, the next week losing at Villa, and they've run Arsenal close as well, haven't they? Brentford 1, Leicester City 1. Matthias Jensen for Brentford. Harvey Barnes levelled for Leicester. Brentford finished with 10 men. Chelsea Everton get underway in 20 minutes. Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle United 2 from last night. Southampton 3, Tottenham 3. Now Tottenham were 1-0 and 3-1 up in this game through Porro, Kane and Perisic. Che Adams, Theo Walcott and a James Ward-Prowse penalty getting a point for Southampton. Wolves 2, Leeds United 4. Leeds were 3 up through Harrison, Ayling and Christensen, but then Johnny and Cunha got 2 back for Wolves, who then had Johnny sent off, and Rodrigo got the 4th for Leeds. In the Championship, Blackpool 1, Coventry City 4, Middlesbrough 4, Preston North End 0, Millwall 0, Huddersfield Town 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham City 1, Reading 1, Hull City 1, Rotherham United 0, Cardiff City 1, but the game was abandoned due to the weather. Stoke City 0, Norwich City 0, Sunderland 1, Luton Town 1, and Watford 1, Wigan Athletic 1. League 1, Accrington Stanley 0, MK Dons 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 2, Cambridge United 1, Charlton Athletic 2, Cheltenham Town 3, Exeter City 1, Derby County 0, Fleetwood Town 2, Ipswich Town 2, Shrewsbury Town 0, Lincoln City 0, Peterborough United 3, Morecambe 1, Oxford United 1, second placed Plymouth Argyle 2, bottom of the table Forest Green Rovers 0, Port Vale 2, Burton Albion 3. Last night, the leaders Sheffield Wednesday 1, Bolton Wanderers 1, and Wycombe Wanderers 0, Barnsley 1. In League 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, Crawley Town 1. Crawley are out of the relegation zone. Bradford City 2, Hartlepool United 2. Hartlepool are in the relegation zone. Carlisle United 0, Stevenage 0. Harrogate Town 1, Barrow 0. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 2. Full reaction to come from here, and an amazing fight back by the U's against the league leaders. Northampton Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. Rochdale 4, Swindon Town 4. Now, Swindon were 2-0 up inside 15 minutes, 3-2 down, 4-3 up. Rochdale equalised in the last minute. Charlie Austin got all 4 for Swindon. Ian Henderson with the late equaliser for Rock Bottom Rochdale. Salford City 3, Doncaster Rovers 1. Stockport County 1, Mansfield Town 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Newport County 3, and Walsall 2, Gillingham 0. In the National League, Barnet 1, Notts County 1, Bromley 1, the leaders Wrexham 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Oldham Athletic 1, Eastleigh 3, Altrincham 2, FC Halifax Town 1, Yeovil Town 1, Gateshead 1, Torquay United 1, Maidenhead United 2, Maidstone United 1, Scunthorpe United 4, Wealdstone 1, Solihull Moors 2, Boreham Wood 0, Southend United 1, Aldershot Town 2. The Blues had led there through Rhys Murphy. Woking 0, Chesterfield 1, and York City 2, Dorking Wanderers 1. And the Scottish Premiership for you, Aberdeen 3, Hearts 0. The leaders Celtic 3, Hibernian 1, but they had to come from behind against 10 men. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1, Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 1, Livingston 2, Ross County 1, and Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. All the non-league full times to come before we finish at 6. We'll round up the rugby union for you as well, and the day's other sports headlines. But ahead of the travel, let's go to Roots Hall, shall we? Southend United 1, Aldershot Town 2. That might fire the final shot on Southend United's playoff hopes. The former Blues player and manager Paul Clark was there for us. Paul leading 1-0 at the break against an Aldershot Town side who not quite clear of relegation trouble as yet, and it all turns around in the second half, and that's 5 defeats on the run now.
Yeah, if you'd seen it, you wouldn't say it turned around in the second half, because Southend, it was sort of even Stevens for the first 15-20 minutes or so, and obviously Blues got themselves in front with a terrific goal, and Aldershot a little bit careless in possession, gifted it to Dan Mooney. He played a wonderful through ball to put Rhys Murphy clear, and he buried it. But from that point on, it was pretty much even Stevens, and if anything, Aldershot were even shading that, and they had any number of sort of half chances, nothing as clear as Blues had, but still, you know, reasonable chances, but they just couldn't force Steve Arnold into a save. And then the second half, they deservedly got themselves in front, and a couple of real sloppy bits of defending from Blues. It's a little bit over casual, resulted in the goal and the penalty. And then Blues huffed and puffed, but never really looked like getting themselves back into the game. And we said before how they can take solace from those previous 4 games because they was up against sides where, sides they was expecting tough games and were probably going to be lucky to get anything out of them. But they played well and gave them a good game. Today they can't even look back at that. It was let's be kind and say, a below average performance, and so we said the result was critical today. They didn't get that, and they didn't get the comfort of a decent performance either, unfortunately.
I mean, I look at it, I look at the last 5 games, Paul, and to me, and no criticism of Kevin Mayer, because they've had to deal so much this season. I would never criticise he and his coaching staff, because he, after all, before tomorrow, is the only guy that's fronted up at the club to talk to us and gets asked questions he doesn't want to get asked. But I just wonder if there's a little bit of they've just run out of steam. They've just run out of steam because they've had to deal with everything off the field, and then obviously can't bring players in, so you can't really freshen things up. People like Henry Sandat have had to come in, a teenager being asked to do a job in senior football. A couple of other youngsters have been used this season. I just wonder if it's look, we've just hit a brick wall.
It's very possible, and in some ways it looks like that. I said to you before, when they were going through all the travails of not getting paid and everything, it can be tiring and draining on players because you never get away from it. And yes, we know they've been paid, but that doesn't mean everything's all well and good. There have been people knocking on their doors and asking for monies and whatever, and they've got, as I say, that's draining, and you're going through that. There's only so much in the tank. They haven't had a chance to re-top up. And when you look at Kevin, as you say, it's difficult to criticise anything, because what's he supposed to do? He's got what he's got. He can only work with what he's got, and there's kind of really 2 things he can do. He can go, well, these are the players I've got, so I've got to play a way that suits them and try to get the best out of that in the moment. Or he goes, well, I want to play this way, and I'm going to try to educate the players to play this way and the way I want. And because he can't bring anybody in the short term, and goodness knows what it's looking like long term, it seems the option is, well, if we get into the playoffs this year, that's great, but even if it's been a successful season because we're not scrapping around for relegation, so I've got time to go, right, this is the way I want to play. Ideally, you'd go, well, if this player's not good, it doesn't suit it, I'll go and get someone else in that it does suit, or does suit the way I want to play. He can't do that, so he's got, well, I've got these players and I'm going to educate them. And it's not always working for him, because sometimes it's not playing to players' strengths. But I know full well that the moment Kevin Mayer can go out and get somebody that does the job he wants done, he will go and get it. But he can't do that at the moment, and he's just going. I think he's looking again long term and going, well, I'll get everybody that I'm taking with me to be comfortable with the way I want to play, and then when I can add to that, hopefully it should all come together. But it was ponderous today, Glenn. There was no zip about their play. The midfield players are they get it off the men at the back, and far too often it either goes square or back to the guy, or back to the back 3 again, one of the back 3 again. They haven't got that man that will get on it and turn and go and attack the opposition. And what I was looking for at half time, and certainly when Aldershot got themselves at least back level, was right, who's going to stand up, who's going to grab this game by the scruff of the neck and take control of it. And unfortunately today for Blues, nobody did.
Paul, thanks for your company this afternoon. Former Blues player and manager Paul Clark laying it on the line there for you this afternoon. Just want to correct a scoreline I gave you as well from the National League. It finished Bromley 1, Wrexham 2 this afternoon, which means that Wrexham stretched their lead at the top after Notts County were held at Barnet, and it means that Notts County over the Easter period are going to have to go to Wrexham and win to stand any chance of taking the title. But just to confirm that, Bromley 1, Wrexham 2. Just ahead of the travel news, let's get to a few of your thoughts, shall we? Paul Clark used the word ponderous to describe Southend today. Brian in Lee likes that word. Worst performance in 2 years, he says. Ponderous, negative, mistake-ridden. We're the only team in the league incapable of a quick break from defence. Gus Scott-Morris ignored by teammates most of the game, but today even he was negative when he got the ball. Appalling on what should have been a day of celebration. Den, Danielle and Jess say at the Southend game, such a poor and lacklustre performance. Atmosphere grim too, considering the goodish news from yesterday. Seems since the players have been paid, they've dined on takeaways every night since. But up the Blues, chins up and on to the next. Thanks for your thoughts. Keep them coming between now and 6. It is 5:20. A little bit later than normal, but you can probably excuse us. At least I hope you can anyway. Here's Tom with the traffic.
You're excused, Glenn. The main problem on the roads is still on the M25, where there is a breakdown heading anti-clockwise at junction 1B for Dartford. So a lane is closed on the entry slip road, and that's causing delays back to junction 2 for Durham. So watch out for that if you're heading into the county from Kent. Elsewhere on the A133, it's slow in both directions through the roadworks between Wheelie and Little Clacton. Everything else is looking okay though. On public transport though, there's disruption to trains across the county due to today's strike action. On Greater Anglia, buses are in for trains from Witham to Newbury Park, so do check before you travel. More travel at about 5:45.
I want to bring you a story now from Anastasia, who is Ukrainian, and Christina, originally from Russia but has been living here in Essex for the last few years.
Christina helped me a lot on the first steps when I just come here and settle down here. I don't know how, but it is developed to the friendship. It was my pleasure to help, and the main thing I think for me was that I see how we understand each other.
Real Essex stories from real Essex people.
I sometimes really dream how I will visit Ukraine and visit my friends there and the places. I will really appreciate if we can go there together with Anastasia and she will show me. And I invite everyone.
Join me, Sonia Watson, for breakfast. Weekdays from 6 on BBC Essex and BBC Sounds. BBC Essex Sport.
Giving to you live from Brisbane Road, reflecting on Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 2. Connor Hall in the 89th minute, Noah Chilvers in the 93rd minute, seeing the U's come from 2 down here against the league leaders and score their first goals for more than 9.5 hours. They almost lost it. Connor Hall had to clear off the line after Chilvers' equaliser. They almost won it. Matt J towing the ball towards goal, had to stretch, couldn't quite get enough on it. Zachariah on Twitter says, I left a couple of minutes early. I'm seriously regretting that right now. Well, I gave it up. I mean, my second goal commentary says that's game over because the U's hadn't scored, had they, for 9.5 hours. But David Gregory always tells us it is never over until it is over. Let me just bring you the League 2 table here on BBC Essex Sport, because yeah, there's a bit of satisfaction about getting the point, but the fact is sides around Colchester have won today and the U's have dropped. Rochdale at the bottom, 26 points from 37 games played, 2-0 down, 3-2 up, 4-3 down, drew 4-all today against, well, I would say against Swindon, but basically against Charlie Austin, because he scored all 4 of Swindon's goals. So 26 from 37. Hartlepool 31 from 37, drew at Bradford today. Then comes the line. Crawley are out of the bottom 2, 32 from 35. Second consecutive win for them today. They won at AFC Wimbledon. Colchester are 21st, 36 from 37, so they're 5 points clear. It's effectively 6 because Hartlepool's goal difference is appalling. Gillingham 38 from 36. Harrogate, who won today, 38 from 37, and Crewe, who lost, 42 from 36. Newport won today to pull 12 points clear. They're probably well and truly home and hosed. They come to Colchester in a couple of weeks' time. The U's at home to Tranmere next week, who lost to Newport today. At the top, Leyton Orient drew here, 73 from 36. Stevenage 67 from 36. They drew. Northampton back in the top 3 today with a win, a 1-0 win, 66 from 37. The playoffs, Carlisle, who drew, drop out the top 3, 65 from 36. Stockport are 5th, 60 points from 37 7 games played. Bradford, who drew, 60 from 36, and Salford, who won, 59 from 37, just bubbling under. Mansfield 3 points short with a couple of games in hand. Sutton are 4 points short, having played the same number of matches, and it's probably over for Barrow now in 10th place after they lost at Harrogate by a goal to nil. So that's how the League Two table looks. It is closing up at the wrong end of the table, and that's not good news for the U's, but maybe this point here today and the fight back will be just the spur they need. Six Nations Rugby Union for you today. Scotland winning the opening game this afternoon, 26-14. France have hammered Wales by 41 points to 28. Ireland going for the Grand Slam. It's currently Ireland 3, England 6. That match started at 5 o'clock, so that's you up to date on everything there so far. Reaction to come from here is on the way. All the non-league score lines as well between now and 6 o'clock. If you've been out at a non-league game, we'd love to hear from you. Were you a Clarets fan, a Chelmsford City fan at Melbourne today who saw your side come from behind twice to win by 4 goals to 2, or a Braintree fan on the way back from Hungerford seeing your 12-game unbeaten run come to an end at a side struggling at the wrong end of the table? Let's get a few more Southend United thoughts, shall we, on a 2-1 home defeat by Aldershot today. The Llama says Aldershot deserved the win, but if we can't beat teams like them, we've got no chance of making the playoffs right now. 9 or 10 games left still, but I fear that's us done already. We need to be winning games like this. It's that simple. Murphy was my man of the match, took his goal well. On to Altrincham next week. Won't be easy, but come away from that with a defeat, and we're definitely going to be non-league next season. Shrimp Tank and Freddy on the way back to Grays. A pleasant journey, guys, safe journey. Says where to start on that dismal sack of rubbish served up at the home of football today. And he did say rubbish, so I thank you for that. Aldershot were awful, but we were seismically bad. Couldn't string passes together at all. Players need to glance in some mirrors today, and that's not a phrase I've used for a long time. This group should be better than that, but clearly all the off-field stuff has caught up. I called for Ron Martin to sell, and he now wants to. I think we will now have a series of people turned down by him as he'll say they're not good enough. Feel for Kevin Mayer and the coaches, but that's now our season over. Time for the sale to be done quickly and get Ron Martin out of our club. Well, he says he'll listen to all offers, and they have got a company who are going to broker the deal as well, who are experienced in selling sports clubs in this country and in the USA as well. So it just needs someone who's willing to come in, and let's not forget, buy Southend United Football Club. You ain't buying the ground, you ain't buying the training ground, you're not buying the new training facility, and at the moment you're not buying the new stadium until it's built. Down the line, ideally, Ron Martin says, yes, I'd like to sell all of it, otherwise the club will have to pay rent and then it won't have any assets. So that's the ideal situation. Andy and Freddie in Highwood, Colchester fans, say on the balance of play, thoroughly deserved a point. Didn't think we'd get the point based on our poor goal scoring form. We also played with better tempo than last week against Stockport. Defensively, we still need to stop the errors, but the pitch may have played a part in that. Great to see us score and come from behind. Just hope we can build some momentum from this. We are sceptical based on how this season and previous seasons have been, but there are positives to build on. Up the U's. Andy and Freddie in Highwoods, thanks for getting in contact, guys. Dave says poor performance for 90 minutes from Colchester against a quality side. Thought we made a couple of decent chances, but our strikers just can't put the ball in the net. Great comeback though, should give us some momentum for a big hike game next Saturday against an out-of-form Tranmere side. Well, it's successive home games to come, isn't it, on consecutive Saturdays. Tranmere next week and Newport the following week. And don't discount Newport, by the way. They've won at Tranmere today, and they've had some good results in recent weeks, particularly away from home. So don't discount them in any way, shape or form. Here's Mick on the text. Says, to be honest, I wasn't expecting anything today, and with a few minutes left, I looked to be right. Well done to the players for not giving up, and what a point. Fingers crossed it leads to the confidence needed to get a couple of results in the next 2 home games that should make us safe. Well done to Neil Kelly, fantastic commentary. I'm going to enjoy a couple of beers now to celebrate. Happy days, up the U's, says Mick. We'll just eradicate my commentary from that and saying it was game over, but when you ain't scored for 9.5 hours and you go 2-0 down, you probably think you're going to be right, don't you? Ice Speedway on Twitter, Southend fan, says 5 defeats in a row against another poor side as well. Well, yeah, but you can say they're a poor side, but lots of people saying Southend were poor today and seemed to have run out of ideas. Paul says, I'm a frustrated foreign listener today. Apart from the assist for the goal, Mooney offered nothing. Ray should have been introduced earlier. Too many below par performances. I am still believing just UTB up the Blues. Well, let's have a look at the National League table, shall we, while we wait for reaction to come in this evening. So here's the top of the table. Wrexham, who won, 94 points from 38. The next 6 are playoffs. Notts County drew 91 from 39, so Wrexham have a game in hand. Woking lost 68 from 38. Chesterfield are 4th. They won at Woking, 68 from 38. Barnet drew with Notts County, 63 from 37. Eastleigh won again, 63 from 39. And Boreham would stay in the top 7, but they did lose today, 2-0 away from home, and surprisingly perhaps against an out-of-form Solihull. So Boreham would occupy the final playoff place, so keep that in your mind. 61 from 37. Just outside, Wealdstone beaten 4-1 at Scunthorpe today, 55 points from 38. Solihull Moors have somehow propelled themselves into 9th position, 54 points from 38. They've won 2 on the bounce now. Before that, they couldn't buy a win. Southend dropped to 10th, 53 from 37, so they are 8 points short now of the playoffs, so they're only a point worse off, but they're going to have to turn their form around. The rest of them look like they're going to be in that league for next season, down to mid-table. At the bottom, Maidstone have almost gone, 24 from 38. Torquay drew, 31 from 37. Scunthorpe won to give themselves hope, 33 from 38. Gateshead 4th from bottom, 34 from 35. The safety mark is Dorking Wanderers, 37 points from 37 games played. Yeovil moved 4 points clear, 38 from 37 with a draw today. And York have probably done enough now with their win over Dorking. They're 8 points clear, so Southend 8 points short of the playoffs. Colchester United got a valuable point here at Leyton Orient this afternoon. They came from 2-0 down with goals in the 89th and the 93rd minute. They have slipped to 21st. They're 5 points clear of the League 2 relegation zone with 9 games to go. Here's boss Ben Garner talking to Neil.
Ben, I think you enjoyed the celebrations when that equaliser went in.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it's always nice to score late, but especially when you deserve it. You know, we deserved at least a point out of the game. So, fantastic spirit, togetherness. We kept going, and I thought we were the better side for large spells of the game.
They kept going. Let you into a little secret. I thought when Soteriou scores that second goal, it's game up. After all, you're away from home against Leyton Orient and you've been struggling to score goals. So that kind of puts the fight back in some kind of context.
Yeah, I mean, there was a break in play after they'd scored with the second goal, and we just got the lads in and said, look, just get one. Just focus on getting one. If we get one, everything can turn, and that proved to be the case. You know, a really good set piece and then a brilliant goal by Chile. You know, fantastic. And MJ's almost won it in the dying seconds there as well. So, as I say, at least we deserved. Never a penalty in a million years.
I wanted to ask you about that. Poor old Fikra Kelleher. He's made the initial error, and maybe the referee thought he's trying to make up for it too hard.
It's not foul. He hasn't pulled him. He hasn't pushed him. He's just gone down very, very easy. The ref's position isn't good. There's no way he should give the penalty. I've just seen it back. He literally blows the whistle within a second or two. He's got to give himself thinking time. But as I say, we kept going. We had first 20 minutes of the second half. Thought we were excellent. Just needed the goal. Had good opportunities to get it. Didn't take it. And then you go 2 down against the run of play at that time. But we kept going. You know, the
must have had
really well.
Smidgen of doubt at that point when Soteriou beats O'Hara at his near post. It's just going to be one of those days where you're equal against the other side, but they're getting the breaks and you weren't.
Yeah, but you have to keep going, and credit to the lads. Since I've walked in the door, their application in training, their intensity, their willingness to work for each other has been top draw, and that's what got us to that point, and almost free. So that's a really good platform for us, but now we want to build on that.
Yeah, let's talk about the last few minutes. First of all, Connor Hall gives you hope, and it's a well-worked set piece.
Yeah, really good goal. We're pleased with that. We've worked hard on the set pieces this week. Brilliant, great ball in, perfect area, and a really good header from Connor. And like I say, that gave us life. It made them probably a bit nervous, and we pushed on and got the equaliser we deserved.
And Noah Chilvers has got an equaliser with a sumptuous shot, and yet a minute earlier he's hit it even better and beats the keeper just wide of the target. He's got quality, hasn't he?
He has. He's really good coming onto the game like that, and I thought the one before, like you, I thought he'd gone in. You know, it was a wonderful strike, and when we broke on the last one at the time, I thought he maybe should have slid Junior 1v1, but he chopped, come in, and brilliant finish off his left foot.
So here's the little secret, because I've been doing this for quite a long time. I've seen some fairly sensational fight backs, though that's right up there. And then what happens is the other side go up the other end and ruin it all by getting a third, and they nearly did. And who pops up on the line? Connor Hall.
Yeah, done great. We should have defended the initial part of that better, but we've made obviously changes and weren't as tight on the rolls, and that would have been really harsh. So really pleased that we saw that through, and then we went up the other end, and I thought MJ had won it for us. So great game, really good point, important that we build on it.
Yeah, someone said to me, Ben Garner, he's a quiet sort of manager. He's not necessarily one of those passionate, raving managers on the touchline. You got booked during the course of the game, and then celebrated it as if you'd won it, because it must feel a bit like that.
Yeah, when you're 2 down and you come back, it was great, and I got a yellow card for throwing my arms up in the air, which is great. But listen, the first half was frustrating because there were so many decisions wrong. And they hadn't created not a thing, and then they're giving a penalty that isn't a penalty. So that's just frustration. That happens at this level. And I try not to do that, but sometimes it gets the better of us.
Oh, it's good. It makes decent radio, and it's great for the fans, and you must have enjoyed the celebrations at the end, because that really was a terrific away following.
Yeah, loved it. I thought they were brilliant from start to finish. Fantastic. We could go and celebrate something with them. I would have loved it to have been 3 points, because we could have easily have had that. But no, thank you to everyone that come. Brilliant support, and hopefully we can have many more good away days together.
Thank you, Ben.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Ben Garner with Neil Kelly, a point for the U's. They came from 2-0 down against the league leaders. They've only been beaten once here, but the U's do slip a place. They're 5 points clear of the relegation zone now with 9 games to go. Crawley's second win on the bounce means they climb out, and Hartlepool drop back into trouble. And you're already looking at those 2 home games to come for the U's on successive Saturdays as being key now to their hopes of just climbing away and not leaving their supporters with a nervy end to the season. 81333 if you want to drop us a text and start your message with the word Essex. Terry in Paynton says, well, who could have imagined that from Colchester United this afternoon? Go on, he says. Yeah, there's a few U's fans getting in contact saying they might have a couple of pints tonight just to bring their blood pressures down a little bit. It's 5:35 now.
BBC Essex Sport.
Let's get some of the day's other sports headlines now. Theo's got the details for you.
Scotland have all but certainly guaranteed their third place finish in this year's Six Nations Rugby Union Championship with a 26 points to 14 victory over Italy at Murrayfield. Captain Jamie Ritchie says it was a hard-fought win against today's opponents.
When you win a test match, it's always a good feeling. I think Italy have been probably deserved more from this tournament. They played a lot of really good rugby, and you saw that today. They put us under huge amounts of pressure, and I'm delighted that we won that game.
England against Ireland is underway, and it's currently Ireland 3, England 6. Earlier, France beat Wales 41-28. The Essex snooker player Mark King has been suspended from competing in World Snooker events pending an investigation into betting patterns surrounding a recent match at the Welsh Open. King has the right to appeal. The Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola insists his former captain Vincent Kompany will one day return to the club as manager. Kompany is currently in charge of the Championship leaders Burnley, who City will face in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup this evening.
After seeing his teams, I'm more than convinced these 2 days, I'm more than convinced that he's going to come back. But the fact when I make weeks ago, I said my feelings, this I don't know. But it's going to happen.
Kickoff is in about 10 minutes. In the Premier League, Southampton came back against Tottenham Hotspur to salvage a 3-3 draw, despite being 3-1 down with 15 minutes remaining. Elsewhere, Leeds won 4-2 away at Wolves, Aston Villa beat Bournemouth 3-0 at home, and Brentford and Leicester played out a 1-1 draw. The last Premier League game of the day sees Chelsea take on Everton at Stamford Bridge, which has just kicked off. And finally, in Formula 1 motor racing, qualifying in Saudi Arabia for the second Grand Prix of the season is underway. Reigning world champion Max Verstappen has complained of reliability issues during Q2. McLaren's Lando Norris went out in Q1. He's qualified 19th for tomorrow's race.
Glenn Speller. BBC Essex Sport.
Thank you, Theo. Evening to you. 22 minutes away from 6 o'clock is the time. Running through all the non-league scorelines and bringing the rugby union details between now and 6. First of all, let's go to Roots Hall, get our first reaction from there, shall we? Southend United 1, Aldershot Town 2. The Blues slip 8 points off the National League playoff pace, and it's their 5th defeat in a row as well. Here's boss Kevin Mayer with Victoria.
Kevin, defeat at home to Aldershot. What did you make of your side's performance today?
Yeah, I thought we were poor. Even the first half we're winning 1-0, but I don't think the levels were good enough in terms of performance. We're delighted to be 1 up, but we even said at half time that we couldn't be sloppy in everything we did and trying to be too nice at times, and everything we said we didn't need to do, we did, and we got what we deserved today.
Starting in the first half, as you say, you got that goal up, and it was Aldershot who had more of the chances in that first half, and that's kind of the opposite of what we've seen in recent games where you've had the performances and maybe not been able to convert the chances. So to get a goal up when you weren't playing particularly well, you must have been pleased with that side of it.
Yeah, I'm pleased to be winning. We knew they'd look to get us on the counter with a ball over the top, but we had enough ball in the final third to do more with, and we didn't create enough. The goal's brilliant from Moons' pass to Murph's finish, but we didn't do it enough, and we didn't have enough quality in the final third, and we turned the ball over too cheaply. And we looked like a side that lacked a bit of confidence, having lost games.
And then second half, Aldershot come out. They get their first goal just after the hour mark. What did you make of that? What could your side have done there?
Yeah, we give a ball away cheaply again. We should just play one down the side and get them turned and ask questions. And then they walk through us. Our principles are outside, get teams outside and not let teams come through us. They walk through us, and then our heads seem to go. And the second goal's an obvious mistake, and one that we've seen a couple of times this year, which isn't good enough. And we seem to, we get hit with something and we don't recover well enough. And listen, we've lost games, and you can see the confidence from that drain, if you want.
The penalty comes from, again, the ball being given away cheaply at the back, and it forces Steve Arnold into the challenge. Any complaints about that penalty?
No, not at all. We've got to deal with it. It's just a ball turned round, made our defence turn round that we didn't deal with, and yeah, it's a clear penalty.
And then, so when you go 2-1 down, obviously you want to try and get your side back in. It had the ball around the penalty area. Can you think of one occasion in that second half, though, where their goalkeeper was forced into a good save? Is that frustrating on your part, not be able to have those opportunities?
Yeah, listen, teams are going to defend their box as they should do, and we went 4-4-2, two wingers on, and when you play like that, you need balls in the box, get it wide and get balls in the box. But we still wanted to play in front of teams too easy. Didn't play forward enough, and get up behind the ball at times when you've got to get the ball in the opposition box. And on a difficult pitch, it's hard to play through teams, so sometimes you've got to play over them or onto them and go pick seconds up and ask questions of them defensively. I think it was too nice and too in front of teams at sometimes.
You've got a week without a midweek game now, so a chance to reset and look at things ahead of Altrincham away next week. What do you need to do to turn this run of form around?
We go back to work Monday morning, and we get on the training pitch, and if we have to drill the team, we'll drill the team for next week. And you want to make changes. And, you can't lose 5 games in a row and expect changes not to happen. And because of the situation we're in, we haven't been able to do that. And to a certain extent, the players are a little bit lucky for that. But you can't go on the run we are. I've backed them all the way through in terms of the last 4 games have been tight and 1-0 wins. But that today wasn't acceptable.
It makes it harder for you to push towards those playoff places. When we talked about the last 10 games and trying to get there and get a result every time, it takes you further away from that. It doesn't help that, but still the belief that you can keep pushing up there.
Not thinking of that now, thinking of getting a win, because we need points on the board. We can talk all we want playoffs. Not if you lose 5 in a row, you've got no chance. What we've got to do is get a result next week. Talk's cheap. Talk playoffs. Let's win a game of football first before you start talking playoffs, because there's too much talk going on at the minute, and we've got to produce on the pitch.
And it's a long way off for anything to impact you and the players, but there's the talk around the chairman exploring the opportunities for the sale of the club. So on the pitch, you're focused on trying to get that win, but long term, do you see the positives for Southend United as a whole?
I don't want to. My only focus is the football, and then it hasn't been good enough today and the last few games, so that's got to be my focus.
Kevin Mayer talking to Victoria Polly. We've lost 5 games in a row. Forget about the playoffs. Let's try to win a game of football first, was the upsum of all of that. And it's baby steps, isn't it? Win a game, see where it leaves you. Win another game, see where it leaves you. See if you can put pressure on the sides above. But the Blues are now 8 points shy of those playoffs. A game and a couple of games in hand on sides above them in the top 7. But it's a 5-game losing streak, and they've been beaten by a side today as well, who have been struggling. But that win today will probably be enough to see them clear of trouble for the rest of the season. Let's get to a few more of your thoughts. Martin in Shoebury-Ness says Southend looked a tired side today, nobody really standing out, summed up when Callum Powell was awarded the Man of the Match award, having only been on the pitch for 25 minutes. 2 bad mistakes cost us the goals, and frankly we didn't deserve anything from the game, as Aldershot looked far hungrier than us and just edged it. Clearly the lack of any new recruits with our transfer embargo since the end of September has left us dreadfully short of options. Yesterday's news was promising, but it won't change anything in the short term, and I still wonder if Ron Martin's got enough cash flow to keep us afloat for any great length of time. Well, they've put £2 million into the club over the last few weeks, but we're still here, says Martin, and no fault lies with the players and the management, who have performed wonders over most of the season. Strangely, they were actually playing better when they weren't being paid. Well, you don't know what goes through people's minds. Look, I'm fortunate to be in a job where I pretty much, I think, can count on being paid on a monthly basis, and if you are, then you count yourselves very fortunate. But Southend's players have had to deal with when's the money coming, is the money coming, and they've had to deal with that whilst playing football, whilst and people think, oh, you're a footballer. Well, these players aren't earning £50,000-60,000 a week. They're earning a wage, a living wage that keeps roofs over their heads, petrol in cars, and families going. And if you're wondering when that's going to come, then in the end it's going to have its toll, and that's what Paul Clark said as well. He said maybe just mentally they've hit the wall. Gary and William on their way back to Broomfield say yet another insipid performance by the Blues at Roots Hall today after a great goal by Rhys Murphy. It all looked like it could be so different. After that though, it was too often passing backwards and not looking to cut Aldershot open. Gus Scott-Morris was playing more like a full-back than a wing-back today, and once again Bridge, Mooney and Fonguk were ineffective. Difficult to know how we can change things whilst we're still under an embargo, but let's be honest, we've blown the playoffs now. UTB up the Blues. Safe trip back. Gary and William heading back to Broomfield. Right, Connor Hall is on the way. We've got the non-league scores and a bit more to come from Southend as well, but it is 5:45. And before all of that, here's Tom with the latest on your travel.
Thanks very much, Glenn. Well, the main problem is still on the M25, where the breakdown heading anti-clockwise at junction 1B for Dartford. So there is a lane closed on the entry slip road, and that's causing traffic to queue back to junction 2 for Darrenf. Again on the M25, but this time going clockwise, there are emergency pothole repairs. So there's 2 lanes closed and queues between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 26. That's the Waltham Abbey turnoff. On public transport, there's disruption to trains across the county due to today's strike action. Many services end at 6 o'clock tonight, so better get moving if you are getting the train. On Greater Anglia, buses are in for trains from Witham to Newbury Park, so do check before you travel. That's the latest BBC Essex travel.
BBC Essex Sport.
Thank you, Tom. Tom Larson-Wright with today's travel news here on BBC Essex Sport. Right, let's get some more reaction from here at Brisbane Road. Connor Hall had an interesting final 6 minutes or so. Got the U's back into it with his first goal for the club, and then cleared one off the line after Noah Chilvers had levelled things up. And Connor Hall has been talking to Neil.
Connor, what a dramatic finish to the game.
Yeah, it was very dramatic, but I think we deserved it. I thought we played really well at times in that game, and obviously to be 2-0 down, I don't think we should have been 2-0 down, but never say die attitude. That's what we've got to have now till the end of the season, and that's what we showed out there.
Yeah, I've just been listening to Richie Wellens, the Leyton Orient manager, doing local radio for them, and very complimentary about your side, about that he said you deserved to get something out of the game.
Yeah, we did, yeah, spot on, we definitely did. I thought we played really well at times, done some really good stuff. We've worked really hard on the training pitch the last 2 weeks, and it's showing out on the pitch. Again, still just fine-tuning little things in between both boxes, but look, we got there in the end. We got our 2 goals, and yeah, we managed to draw the game, which obviously is a positive.
Head coach Ben Garner was emphatic it wasn't a penalty, that Fikra Keller did not foul his man.
Yeah, I don't think it was either.
Did you have a good view?
I didn't really have the best of view because he was in front of me. I don't think it was. I think the fans behind the goal made a lot of noise and convinced the ref to give a penalty. That's the way it goes. That's how it's going for us at the minute. Little things like that.
When Rule Satiriou beat Kieran at his near post, did you think, even though we've been as good as this lot today, did you begin to think we're not going to get anything out of this?
Again, yeah, like I was there. The ball's come into him. I felt that I've got a good connection on it. It's ricocheted straight into his path, and he's gone through and scored. And you just think, like, it just sums the day up for us. But again, we didn't give up. We kept going, and we got our reward.
You needed the lifeline, didn't you? And it needed to end that run of no goals in 9.5 hours. And you get it at the near post.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to make runs in the box. You've got to beat your man. Luckily, I managed to do that, and MJ's placed it perfectly for me, and I've managed to loop it in the back post and get us back in the game.
And then it's Noah Chilvers, because I thought he'd equalised a minute before he actually did.
Yeah, look, he's a good player. He likes to take people on. He's really positive, and he's deserved his goal, and it was a great strike.
Even then, though, Leyton Orient go up the other end. Looks like they're going to ruin the whole fight back, and you somehow clear it off the line.
Yeah, that's what you pay to do. You got to keep the ball out your net.
Better than that. It was better than that.
Look, you got to keep it out your net, and
you were almost under the bar when you got your head to the ball.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to, if the ball goes over my head, I like to get back onto the line if it's that close, and just to give the keeper one side to deal with, and I can deal with the other side, and that's exactly what happened. I was the other side and managed to get it over the bar.
It would have been cruel, having mounted that fabulous fight back, not to have got something out of that game.
It would have been, yeah, but that's how football goes. That you score, you got to be on it again. You got to be switched on. We're all out there when we scored the second goal saying switch on, stay switched on. The game isn't finished yet, and that's the key moments. That's why.
Yeah, a couple more from me. Did you enjoy celebrating the draw with the fans at the end of the game, because their support was terrific?
Yeah, without a doubt, we did. The fans were absolutely brilliant from the minute we stepped out on the pitch for the warm up, and like we said in there, it'd be nice to give them something finally after a long run. And they played their part, and we certainly played our part for them.
And I know that the teams below you have done rather well this afternoon in terms of their games, but this has got to give you a whole heap of momentum going into your next game.
Yeah, it does. I think we've played the teams now that are right up there. We've got past that stage now. So it's now about beating the teams in and around us, and I think reflection on not just this game, previous games as well, we're more than good enough to go out and give a great performance and get 3 points.
There we are, Connor Hall talking there to BBC Essex's Neil Kelly. Let me take you through the non-league scores before we hear from Rhys Murphy, Southend's goal scorer today. We'll start with the National South. Chelmsford City 4, Worthing 2. The Clarets were twice behind, but Trotter, Falevi, Krasniki and Hockey with the goals for Chelmsford. Concord against Dartford postponed. Hungerford Town 2, Braintree Town 1. Aaron Blair with the goal for Braintree. Hungerford won it in the second half. Isthmian Premier, Bognor Regis Town 0, Canvey Island 1. Evans Kouassi with the goal again for the goals, keeps them in the top 5. Brightlingsea Regent 0, Cray Wanderers 1. Hastings United against Billericay postponed. Horsham 4, Bowers and Pitsea 1. Bowers remain in the relegation zone. Margate 0, Averley 1. Harry Gibbs with the winner for Averley. In the Isthmian North, AFC Sudbury 5, Basildon United 0. Galston 1, East Thurrock United 0. Grays Athletic 2, Lowestoft Town 1. Great Wakering Rovers 1, Stowmarket Town 4. Hashtag United 1, Felixstowe and Walton United 0. 21 straight wins now for Hashtag. Jermaine Francis with the winner 5 minutes from the end after Felixstowe had been reduced to 9 men. Holbridge Sports against Bury postponed. Malden and Tiptree 1 and Coggeshall Town 1. Whittam Town against Brentwood postponed. Southern League Division 1 Central, Waltham Abbey 1, Kidlington 1. Essex Senior League, Barking 1, Buckhurst Hill 1. Saffron Walden Town 3, Halstead Town 0. Sawbridgeworth against Little Oakley. Southend Manor against Enfield and Tately against Stansted postponed. Last night, Woodford Town 2, White Ensign 0. In the Thurlow First Division North, Harwich and Parkston against Framlingham and Holland against Whittlesea, both postponed. In the First Division South, Basildon Town against May and Baker, Benfleet, Wivenhoe and Coggeshall United against Barkingside all off today. Stanway Pegasus 6, Tower Hamlets 2 in the only game which went ahead in that league. Right, the Rugby Union for you. Latest scoreline from Dublin. Ireland 10, England 6, with Ireland going for this Grand Slam, and that is now a half-time as well. The Rugby Union results affecting Essex senior sides today. National League 2 East, Old Albanians 82, relegated Westcliff 31, Rochford 127, Dorking 41, keeps Rochford in danger of relegation. Regional 1 South East, Hertford 43, Colchester 12, Regional 2 Anglia, Chelmsford 0, HAC 29, and Chingford against Brentwood was a walkover for Brentwood. Right, let's go back to Roots Hall. Southend United 1, Aldershot 2. Rhys Murphy had put the Blues ahead, and then it all went south from there. Here he is talking to Victoria.
Rhys, a goal for you, but let's start off with the result as a whole for Southend United. Disappointing day.
Yeah, bitterly disappointing. I think we said on Friday we want to win, and we've lost another game at home. from a winning position, so it doesn't get much worse. Very, very frustrating. We need to dust ourselves down, take a look at the positives and where we need to be working on, and now we prepare for the next game. So very disappointing, but I'm sure there'll be some positives to take, and it means we need to be working harder next week in preparation for the next game.
First half, Aldershot had more of the chances, but it was you who managed to make the chance count in the 16th minute. Lovely pass through from Dan Murphy, and did it feel like it was a chance you couldn't really miss?
Yeah, Dan Mooney's passed it through. Great ball, that's what he can offer to the team. Nice to score, but like you say, they had some chances, so potentially a little bit lucky to go in 1-0 at half time. And then, 2 quick goals and we've lost the game. So, like I say, there'll be some positives to look at, but there's going to be a lot that we need to look at to rectify, ready for the next game.
Those 2 goals in the second half for Aldershot, the first one came from losing the ball cheaply, and then the second coming from a penalty. The Southend United defence has been so strong this season, but putting yourself under pressure isn't going to help when sides like Aldershot are going to be able to capitalise on those chances.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I think we've got one of the best defensive records this season, so they've been brilliant up until now, which is definitely a positive. Everyone makes mistakes. We need to try and minimise them. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the goals specifically. Obviously, one was a penalty. But yeah, I know I keep saying it, but we need to go away, sit down Monday, go through the game, and see where we need to be working on and be better. But one of the best defensive records in the league. So we are doing something right. But obviously today, a couple of things went wrong.
And it's now 5 defeats in a row for the side. Does it feel like confidence is low? What is the mood like amongst the side? That second half, there weren't really the opportunities there, and you go to the 2-1 down. It felt like you maybe were running out of ideas of how to get back in it.
Yeah, when you do lose a few games, the confidence does drip. I think maybe you start second guessing yourselves, or you don't play as freely as what you do when you're winning games. So sometimes it just takes that ugly win to get yourselves back onto a run of form again. Going back to basics, working hard for each other, defending well, being hard to beat, and you get that bit of luck that you nick a goal in a game, or like they've got a penalty today and they've took it. So there will be positives to take from this game. There will be. I mean, I'll just coming off the back, I can't think of many, but there will be things that we need to work on. We're still in the hunt for the playoffs. That's the main thing. The season's not done. As frustrating as it is, straight off the game, losing it, there's still lots to play for, and our target is still in sight. So let's look forward, be positive. There's lots of positives there from this group. It's a really good group of people, staff, players, everyone involved. So let's not get carried away and think, oh my God, it's all doom and gloom. We need to do better. What bits do we need to do better at, and let's go.
Yeah, and it is a tight-knit squad. We've seen that all the way through the season. So there's still that belief, and going into next week's game at Altrincham, that you can still be in that hunt come the end of the season.
Yeah, we're a team that's been on runs before, so we're looking for that first one to get us back on our way. So yeah, we're looking forward. We want to win every game. That was the aim today. We wanted to win. It's not happened. Right, okay, how do we win the game on Saturday?
And for you personally, you've got the goal. It's a couple of games now where you've been involved and come through, I imagine, unscathed from it. Do you feel like you're getting a bit of momentum now?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I played 2 games in a row, started a game. So from a personal point of view, that was good, that was positive. Just trying to get my fitness and sharpness up. Like I said to you on Friday, I want to contribute. Every player wants to contribute, whether it's starting or from the bench. No one wants to be injured. So personally, yeah, great to be out there, but I want to win games as well. So I want to be out there and be making a difference. So that's not happened today. How do we do that on Saturday, whether it's me or one of the other guys? There's a real talented group in there. Whoever's out there, starting or finishing, we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to get a result.
Reece Murphy with Victoria Polly. Harry says, I don't think Southend did work hard today. We showed no passion at all. Liam has the final word on the emails. Says, how did the U's come from behind after the first hour today? I didn't see that coming. Most definitely what the doctor ordered. I understand we need to work defensively, but the fact we got a point from a club fighting for promotion is definitely well earned. Hopefully we can show this fight throughout the rest of the season, because the fact we did that with the dying embers of the match, then we can stay up the U's, says Liam. That'll do it for another Saturday of BBC Essex Sport then. Thanks to you for your contributions and your ongoing support for the programme. Thanks to all the guys back in Chelmsford as well. Glenn Pennefather's back with the fans phoning on Thursday between 6 and 7, and I'm back next Saturday from 2. From myself and the team, try to enjoy your weekend. From Risman Road, good night.
Here's Chilvers again as an Orient player on the ground. Sears wants it through the middle. Chilvers carries on with his run. Left-footed! Brilliant! Absolutely brilliant from Noah Chilvers. And look at the celebration involving Ben Garmer, who punches to the air along with his coaching staff, because Noah Chilvers is back and so are Colchester United. What a brace! What a response! Just when so many people had written him off, they're back on level terms against top of the table Leyton Orient, and what a goal by Noah Chilvers. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester United 2.